It is time to bring the action, the championship action, here in Phoenix. And for all of these drivers, the build-up has been immense. Even if you're not in the championship four, you want to finish on the highest note. Everybody has their story of the season to tell, and what does 2025 look like? But we're not there yet. We are right here, right now, on Championship Day. Phoenix Raceway is ready to explode into life for Championship Day. Let's go! What a beautiful moment for Martin Truex Jr. to lead this field in his final full-time Cup ride.
Big moment for the one of Ross Chastain. That Busch Light Chevrolet, light blue and white, got loose underneath the 22, was able to save it. He'll fall in line in third.
Austin Cindric can't push his way through the middle there as well. Logano. Elliott dove down low in that familiar blue and yellow Napa machine. Oh! Somebody's in the wall!
The 54 of Ty Gibbs. He had an issue in the middle of 3 and 4. I couldn't tell what it was. Then it looked like a mechanical issue that continued down the front straightaway. Then in the middle of the dogleg, a hard right turn. Heavy damage to the 54.
That was a massive impact.
There was some radio communication. That was a huge hit for the youngster, Ty Gibbs.
Yeah, he's trying to get the car moving again, but I believe the damage is going to be too heavy.
AMR safety team, as they always are, thank you for your speedy service. They're always there to aid the drivers as quickly as possible.
It's only a 1 mile racetrack. I say only because we see 2 and 2.5 mile speedways, but Jeff, the speed is still evident with that contact the 54 made with the outside wall.
Yeah, such a hard impact. It's good to see the AMR team there checking on Ty.
So it starts right here. This is in the middle of 3 and 4. They're 3 and almost 4 wide. The 54 is up. You see him slipping and sliding. I don't know if he has a tire down or breaks a toe link, but then right there, the car gets sideways. He corrects and gets into the wall. Ty Gibbs is a very, very talented race car driver. I find this shocking to think there's not a mechanical issue. There's no way at that point in the racetrack that is purely driver error. Something had to be wrong with the 54.
You see the flex of the safer barrier? Oh boy, that was a hard hit.
Man. Fortunately, at the last second, he was able to get the car turned to the left a little bit. Watch this. As the car turns to the right, it looks like it's heading at that really, really bad angle, but he's able to get it turned left to get more of a side impact. That is a massive hit.
Massive hit. Scary for the drivers behind. Wow.
It's the end of his second full season for his grandfather's team, and it's ended not the way that he would have hoped.
He's had some really bright moments in the year. They've had speed at times. Early in the race, it looked like they could be contenders, and as the race would go on, they would lose some of that speed. The end of this year has not gone well. Several mechanical failures, and then to end today, very disappointing. But they have a lot to look forward to next year.
It's been a good year for Ty. He's had a couple of second places, some third places, but unfortunately the season finale has ended prematurely. Going to be giving you plenty of aerial coverage today, and we want to say thanks to our friends at Traveller Whiskey for these kind of shots and above Phoenix Raceway all day long. If you're just joining us, welcome. Championship day here in Phoenix. However, we are under an early caution. Pretty heavy crash suffered by Ty Gibbs of Joe Gibbs Racing, and the AMR safety team are there attending to him as we speak. Been a special year for Toyota as it celebrates its achievement across many leading North American motorsport series. In September, William Sawalich clinched his second straight ARCA East Championship, while Toyota development driver Corey Heim led the Truck Series in wins and qualified for his second championship four. In Formula Drift, Toyota's four-driver charge secured its 9th Auto Cup title. Toyota's Cannon McIntosh became the second driver to ever win 2 national midget titles in the same year. And CJ Greaves won another Pro 4 title in his Toyota Tundra TRD Pro. In NHRA Championship drag racing, Toyota drivers scored victories in 15 of 19 races, with an opportunity for a championship next weekend. Toyota is the only manufacturer to have at least one driver make the championship four in every Cup Series season, as they are cheering on Tyler Reddick as they look to achieve their 4th NASCAR Cup Series title today. It has been a very productive and successful year, and that man there hopes to continue that trend. This is the reason why we're under caution. It's almost cleaned up. We'll go racing when we come back. Two-time NASCAR Cup Series champion from Team Penske, Joey Logano. There he is as we show you some multi-views and, of course, the teams on the respective pit boxes calling the shots. We're only just getting going, though. We'd only just started this championship race before we were under caution. So looking to get some racing rhythm going. It's Martin Truex Jr. in that throwback scheme alongside Joey Logano. Let's get back to racing. Let's get some rhythm going. Logano's not hanging about.
4 wide behind. Larson at the bottom. Chase Elliott involved. William Byron in that white car to his right side, the 20th belt.
There's William Byron down on that low side in the 24, predominantly white car, right there. And there is a quiet groundswell of support for this guy. The only one not to win, to get his way in here. Look at that, 4 wide again. with Kyle Larson in the middle. Denny Hamlin down low, Austin Cindric there, and the 45, one of the championship for Tyler Reddick, goes all the way around them.
How about the courage for Tyler Reddick to trust those guys on the inside of him?
Jeff, that was a Las Vegas kind of esque move.
Yes, it was, and any one of those drivers made a mistake, they could have taken him with him.
On board with Blaney, the Richmond Water Heaters camera. Jeff, you kind of gave that handicap at the pre-race show. You said that what excited you the most about Reddick is that he's willing to make any type of move, and what scared you was the same thing, and that was it. Reddick kind of drives one way. The same move that worked at Miami didn't work at Las Vegas. He tumbled down the front stretch upside down.
It shows you his mentality for today. He's on offense. He is not going to play defense.
The Richmond Water Heaters on board of Ryan Blaney.
Started the lowest of all the championship, 4 outside the top 15, all the way up to 12th. He looked very calm this week when we talked to him. He said that's one of the things he learned the most, is that this is a long race and remain patient.
60 laps in the opening stage, by the way. There's the two of Austin Cindric just ahead. Kyle Larson, Denny Hamlin, then Blaney in that bright yellow Menards Ford, going by the man who will be crowned Rookie of the Year, the 77 of Carson Hocevar.
That was an odd look for the 11 of Denny Hamlin. The dogleg looks like it's become a little more difficult than in years past. The transition back onto the racetrack had the 11 into a bit of a wiggle.
Watch this right here. Watch the 11 and the 5. See, when Denny Hamlin started to come back on the racetrack, like Steve discussed, it knocked that car out of control for just a moment. Parker spoke about that at the start of our race, how rough that transition is, leaving the apron and coming back on the racetrack.
The rear suspension of these cars are very, very finite settings. There's physical stops, because to make a car drive good, you want the rear diffuser right against the ground, so the cars run as low as possible. I say that because not here in the corner where we see, but actually on the straightaway as we watch the 11 and the 12 side by side. Right here, past the start-finish line, in that spot of the racetrack. That's the most vertical load. That's where the car is squished the most, so those rear settings very important.
And also, look at the drivers have decided to not run down there as much.
Agreed.
Now, this is how quick they learn diff. This is something different in this race that we have seen in previous races. As they leave turn 1, as they approach turn 1, normally you'd see drivers all the way on this apron. Watch Tyler Reddick. He's not even down there. Left side's on the paint, not going on that apron.
Parker, let's go inside your race in the Xfinity Series last night. Congrats on your career wrap-up, by the way. Tell us about those transitions and the various lines that you chose and what we're seeing here today from these guys. How aggressive is it?
Yeah, right, Lee. Thank you very much, by the way. And what you guys are talking about is exactly right. I noticed this in the Xfinity race yesterday. There's that transition. There's some bumps that are actually developing right around the yellow lines there that you don't want to hit, and actually points through the race. I was choosing to do the exact thing you're seeing these Cup drivers do, which is avoid going down there because it was so harsh. And you know that if you get this car down there and you start to bounce around, you could damage the underbody of the race car. So they have to use it very sparingly. But this racetrack is definitely aging, Dave, as we get into later years of this repave.
Parker, Tyler Reddick runs in 6th now, and watching that high pass through turns 1 and 2, it was very reminiscent of what got him in trouble at Las Vegas. But the week after that, I talked to crew chief Billy Scott about that move, about being aggressive and about crashing at Las Vegas. And he said, we've lost spots by not letting Tyler be Tyler. We're standing behind him. We want him to be aggressive. Same here today, Marty.
Already +8, Dave, for Ryan Blaney, up into the top 10, now in the 9th position. So Jeff, he talked to us earlier this week about how he was going to remind himself to be patient. He didn't have to be in a hurry to get to the front after qualifying 17th this afternoon. So Jeff, how do you do that with a championship on the line? Stay patient behind the wheel.
Well, if you think about what he did last week, he had to win Martinsville, and he did that, and he did not qualify well in that race. In this race last year, he did not qualify well, and he won the championship. So you just lean on those experiences. You remember what you did, and you know you can get it done from qualifying a little bit mid-pack.
His Team Penske teammate up front, Joey Logano, has led 11 laps so far. And Stevie, they're the first laps he's led since he led the last lap in 2022 to win the championship.
Well, you want to be your best at the right times.
Teammate on teammate here. No worries. Add that one to the list. Blaney up 10 from where he started. Now all of a sudden you've got the championship 4 in the top 7 spots.
P7. Coming to 15 on tires.
Do you know, guys, when Ryan Blaney showed us that incredibly determined performance and drive last week, it was coming off the back of a gut-wrenching loss at Homestead when Tyler Reddick rounded him up. Team Penske is a big family as far as personnel at the shop and from the driver roster as well. His good friend and 3-time Supercars champion and IndyCar race winner and title contender Scott McLaughlin sent him a text straight after Homestead and said, "You know how good you are. You go to Martinsville and make it your house." And he did.
Yeah, it's you know, you think about who drives for Roger Penske and the talent in that shop. They can lean on each other, even though they drive different series and the cars are completely different. It's still racing, Steve. And having that experience to just have simple conversations about, you can take something from it. Now, you say they're good friends. They're not on the golf course. I can tell you that. They are fierce competitors.
Let's move up a few positions forward in this throwback scheme to Martin Truex Jr. Final race of his full-time Cup career. He will come back and do the 500. We've told you that on multiple occasions next year. However, if starting on the pole wasn't special enough, have a look at this from this morning's drivers' meeting. Martin's a pretty humble guy. He almost looked uncomfortable. He almost didn't know how to receive that. But that's how much respect there is for that guy and his 20 years in the NASCAR Cup Series.
Biggest respect, the biggest compliment you can be given is the respect of your peers. And that right there is simple respect.
And now he's doing the work behind the wheel. I can only imagine the emotions of the driver's meeting and strapping in. I feel at this point, though, he's the ultimate professional, right? So it is just the task at hand. This year has been full of ups and downs, Parker, and I can only imagine Martin Truex Jr., while the pole was great, he would love to have a walk-off win behind the wheel of the 19.
And right, see, that's the motivation of this whole race team. You guys mentioned he's such a laid-back guy. I think we were all looking for an ounce of emotion out of him throughout this weekend, and we really didn't see it. We didn't see it in the pre-race, Jeff, when you spoke to him, but on his radio on the pace laps, he had a message to the team that maybe showed a little bit of emotion. Take a listen.
Appreciate you guys. Thanks for sticking with it all the way through the end here. Hopefully we can go out on top. Appreciate all your hard work, your dedication, everything we've done over the years. It's been a lot.
I don't know, maybe there's a hint there right at the end of the emotion, but of course, as the helmet comes on and locks in here, he's focused on what they're doing behind the 19 right now, just a little tight in the center of the corner for Martin Truex Jr.
We had that in-car camera there showing you, looking back at Martin in the cockpit. He is wearing a unique helmet this weekend, and this, the man behind this is Tommy DeBlasi, who's on his team. He's interior guy and his tire guy, and this is a reflection of Martin's career. There's Johnny Morris, the man behind Bass Pro Shops. There's 2 of these helmets done. One for Martin, one for Johnny. And it reflects their lovely friendship and their journey together. And this for Martin to wear today in his final full-time Cup ride. That is really neat. So Truex's message said, let's hope we can get it done today. He's just 1.5 seconds behind this man, Joey Logano, racing towards his 3rd Cup title. Great to have you with us. You're watching the NASCAR Cup Series Championship race on NBC, presented by Breztree. And a reminder for you to scan the QR code that you see on the right-hand side of your screen there. Scan it now and get charged up for a chance to win the all-electric 2024 Ford F-150 Lightning Flash, or visit NASCAR.com/Ford Playoffs promo. But don't wait, enter now, and good luck. Joey Logano and the Championship 4 sat down with the media earlier this week, and Steve, myself, Marty Snyder were lucky enough to get our chunk of time with them. One of the questions we asked Joey Logano was, of the other 3 guys, like the Championship 4, which ones do you like racing around? He said, none. I don't like being around any of them.
I love that. I love that approach. He kind of had a mantra. We asked, you know, what is the signature of this team? And he said, we're going to old man them to death. I don't understand. He said, listen, we aren't flashy. We just find ways. We're kind of a little bit here, a little bit there. We pick and choose our spots. And right away, he's found the right day to qualify well, run up front, lead laps, get a good read on his car. It's not that he's in control as much as using these first 37 laps to know what adjustments he needs to continue to make to be the best at the end.
I spoke to Paul Wolfe yesterday, the crew chief, and he was a little bit concerned about the pace. He didn't think they were fast enough compared to some of the other playoff guys, in particular Ryan Blaney, their teammate, but takeoff speed looks pretty good. Normally the strength of these Penske's, several years ago, Steve, they were just really fast. They would take off fast and not have good long run speed, but that's turned this year. This year they've had really good long run speed. And that lap right there, Logano was just as fast as anybody on the racetrack. They have to feel good about the start.
We had a caution very early in this race, and it was due to a heavy impact suffered by Ty Gibbs and his 54 Monster Toyota Camry. Kim Kuhn caught up with him when he was released from the infield medical center a little earlier.
Ty Gibbs okay after an early incident. Ty, what happened? What kind of feedback were you getting from the car?
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely a big hit. I made contact with the wall, but I didn't think it was necessarily, you know, too bad. And I went off into the dog leg, and we've been, you know, really hard on the track there all week. And I think I just caught it at a bad angle, and it just took off for me. I had no control there, so it was a really, really big hit, though.
At just 22, that guy's been mixing it up with the big names of the sport. Put him on your bingo card for race wins next year.
86 starts in his career, and I've always said, you know, the magic is kind of around 100. When you look at some of the biggest names, they have won between, say, 90 and 110 starts. So you mentioned it, Jeff. There were some races earlier this year that looked like Ty Gibbs could have won. They didn't work out his way, but I think kind of take the off season, recharge, come back, and it wouldn't shock me if he goes to victory lane next year.
Great shot right here, the Toyota cam. You can see Martin Truex Jr. trying to run Joey Logano down. This is an important part of the race. You're learning what your race car. You had practice yesterday. I'm sorry, Friday, qualifying yesterday. But the racetrack changes. You've had 2 races on the racetrack. Track rubber's up. It's hotter today than it's been the other part of the weekend. So all the teams right now, they're understanding what their car can do and what it can't do, and they're focusing on making the changes at whenever the first stop comes to get their car optimized.
Toyota on board of Martin Truex. That's what 7/10 of a second looks like. That's the gap between Logano and Martin. Christopher Bell runs third. William Byron, Chase Elliott. And look at this, nice and close here with 2 of the Championship 4.
One of the best battles on the racetrack. Ryan Blaney has moved up all the way to the 7th position, the lowest of the Championship 4. You mentioned the pace of the 22. Well, everybody talked about the pace of the 12. It showed early. He's got a little stalled out right here. Him and the 45 continue to swap lower line, upper line, trying to find a way around. Now traffic in front of the 45. We'll see if that makes a difference. Slower car, that 45, that's J.J. Yaley, Arizona native.
Talk more about the 12 and Ryan Blaney with Marty. What you got?
Yeah, Lee, to Steve's point, that long run speed for Blaney was showing up until he got to the rear bumper of Tyler Reddick. What's going on with the 12 car? Listen in.
I need more rear grip at 1 and 2 and need more front turn at 3 and 4. Just exit at 2. I just can't really put the power down.
So, Steve, that's sort of opposite handling issues on the opposite end of the racetrack. How often did you find that to be the case at Phoenix when you were on top of the pit box?
Every trip to Phoenix. That's what makes this 1 mile so magical, right? As we look right here, this is down the back straightaway into 3 and 4, a banked corner. There's more banking, more grip, higher minimum speeds. They roll the corner. Then this exit stays banked all the way to the start-finish line. Now we go through the dog leg where we saw Ty Gibbs' accident. Now we go down into 1 and 2, a flat sweeping corner. I actually think the driver has more options here. Why this would be the more difficult corner because it's flatter. Look where Reddick is running, up the racetrack. Blaney down bottom. So I believe the key here used to be the flat end, but with this new car, it's this actual banked end of the racetrack. I think if you're good through here, Jeff, you're going to have a good day.
Yeah, you can see how this racetrack presents an opportunity for drivers to run in multiple lanes. Blaney's a little bit quicker right now than Tyler Reddick. Tyler jumped to the higher lane, and the reason Reddick can't just drive by him is because right there, Blaney's got to turn his steering wheel a little bit more than Tyler Reddick because the radius is shorter. It's tighter on the bottom of the racetrack, and he's asking more of his car on corner exit. So I think if the 12 could get by the 45 and he could use all the racetrack, he could drive away from him. Tyler Reddick knows that. Tyler's taken away what Blaney wants.
Starting to work their way through traffic. The race is on, and the championship 4 are all nicely positioned in the top 7. With just 8 laps remaining in the opening stage, this is good stuff between 2 of the championship 4. Tyler Reddick up ahead in that monster, the Beast 45 for 2311 Racing, and you're right with Ryan Blaney. He's got super close to him several times, but just unable to finally make that move stick. Meanwhile, in the top box, Martin Truex Jr. has really closed the gap on Joey Logano, who's been out in front for some 44 laps.
Great racing all the way around this racetrack. Truex, what's he gonna do right here? Is he gonna go to the top or the bottom? Actually just follows Logano.
The traffic at the back of the field has definitely closed up the lead. The 22 made short work of the 34 of Michael McDowell, who's a couple cars behind, but now up the road. The 31 right there, Daniel Hemrick. Logano doing a nice job not putting himself in too many positions on the bottom. Blaney still working on this 45 of Redding.
That inside line, that inside option, Steve, just keeps presenting itself, and he's like, I just can't quite get there.
And if you're a crew member or a crew chief, you're seeing just how difficult these passes are to make at times. Like Blaney right here will still have the 45 to his outside. That just puts more weight on these upcoming pit stops.
If this was race 3, maybe Reddick says, hey, you know what? You can take that spot. I'm going to get my car better and come back and fight another day, but not today. No quarter given.
Normally, we'd be talking about what's on the line here in 4 more laps, a stage win and some points. One thing that has to be a different mentality for these championship 4s, remember, only one lap's going to matter. The final lap, whoever finishes the highest of the 4 will be the champion. So you don't have to race differently at the end of the stages. They're really just guaranteed breaks is how you would look at them.
It's different for us too, because we spend the year, we're so driven by stage points and playoff points earlier in the year.
That track position is every bit as important though, right? The higher up you come on pit road, the better opportunity you leave pit road with a good spot. So these positions matter a great deal.
It's been a quiet opening stage for William Byron in the 24. He's sandwiched between Christopher Bell and Chase Elliott and has just been cruising around. Meanwhile, Bell has caught his JGR teammate. Look at this, all 3 of them super close at the end of the first stage.
That's good stuff.
And you know that Bell is just driven like mad to make something happen this weekend and at least go out with a victory after not being able to be in this championship 4 after a stellar season up until last weekend, the way that it went down in controversial circumstances at Martinsville.
Sure, Blaney's getting frustrated, but you cannot let this part of the race overwhelm you. You want this spot really badly, but don't do anything silly here.
Final lap of stage 1 on championship day, and Joey Logano, he's led 50. What a start. What a start. He was on Martin Truex Jr.'s outside at the drop of the green flag. He went to the front really early, and he will win stage 1. That is the perfect start to his championship day and his quest for a 3rd Cup Series title. The Xfinity Mobile onboard of Tyler Reddick. Had a really good battle there with Ryan Blaney, who got the upper hand there. And look at this, legend in the house, Michael Phelps having fun. No fun for Ty Gibbs, and the championship 4 all still alive and at it. NBC Sports coverage of the NASCAR Cup Series Championship is brought to you by Brestree. Please visit us at brestree.com. Credit One Bank NASCAR American Express card. Toyota, let's go places. And by Progressive. Save when you bundle motorcycle, RV, and boat insurance. Visit progressive.com. Welcome back to Phoenix Raceway. Here's Kim Kuhn.
Yeah, something to point out before we see pit stops for William Byron. They have an advantage in their pit box. They have pit stall 1, so there's nobody in front of them as they race off pit road. But Ty Gibbs falling out of the race, they were pitted right behind him. Now they have a clear opening, Dave, for the entire race.
Tyler Reddick's team believed they would be on the curb portion of Phoenix Raceway's pit road. So last week at Martinsville, instead of picking an optimal pit box on the straightaway, they picked a curb pit box so they could practice getting the handoff from the spotter to the crew chief. There's a verbal handoff that happens to get the driver into the correct spot so he can hit his marks and the crew can do their job well. What an option to practice that last week. Parker.
And Joe Logano leads the field here onto pit road. The team was telling him the only place he was getting beat by Martin Truex Jr. was down into turn 3. He was over slow in the corner. He's asked Paul Wolfe to loosen him up a little bit on the entry into turn 3. They've also asked him to stop short in his boxes. The 21 and the P15 will be coming around him.
Tyler Reddick told his team that trying to run the low line, the yellow line, it just gets a little bit too free. Freer in 3 and 4 especially would help, Marty.
Plus 11 in stage 1 day for Ryan Blaney, who was finally able to pass Tyler Reddick. He said if I had to tackle one issue, it would be more grip off the corner, both ends, Kim.
As you see William Byron, bottom right, you saw that chassis adjustment. He said he needed help on exit. That was his biggest struggle. It was swinging, meaning loose. So they did make that adjustment, and they're going to race off pit road, lead the timing line a little further, though, this year.
Look at that for an effort from Chase Elliott. Christopher Bell gains a spot. Logano lost a bunch as everybody resets in preparation for Stage 2 Championship Day. Who do you like the look of so far? It was a quiet and stable opening stage. What's the next one going to be like? Exciting careers are available now nationwide, bringing the next generation of U.S. Navy submarines to life. If you're looking for a stable, impactful career, visit buildsubmarines.com. We build giants because it takes one to build one. Let's go back and have a look at Joey Logano's stop. He lost 4 positions.
Yeah, 54 laps led in that first stage with this first pit stop, 11.8 seconds. Watch this right front, tire off. Oh, fumble, bang, hits the wheel, tire on. It just looks so minuscule, but 11.8. We're hoping to see 10-second pit stops, so 1.8 seconds slower than expected, Jeff.
Yeah, I talked to Paul Wolfe Friday afternoon, or Saturday afternoon rather, and he said the only thing he wanted his pit crew to do is what they've done all year long. He doesn't want world record pit stops. He just wants nice, smooth, steady pit stops. That wasn't what that one was, so they just got to focus and just go get back in rhythm.
Let's get the thoughts of Brad, Kyle, and DJ on what they witnessed on that opening round of stops, fellas.
Well, what you witnessed on the opening round of stops is there's just as much pressure on these pit crews as there is on the drivers. That's all we talked about pre-race was the pressure on the drivers, but on pit road, 9 seconds, you're under a microscope.
Yeah, that 22 car was outstanding out front. Now we're going to see what he's got back in traffic a little bit. But hey, if you're going to get the nerves out of the way and have that, do it now, not later.
I absolutely agree. I thought Joey Logano was outstanding on the racetrack. They made a little bit of a mistake, but they've got a bulldog behind that wheel and a heck of a race car, Lee.
So just spicing it up a little bit for what was almost a near perfect opening stage for Joey Logano. But we'll remind you what we witnessed right back prior to the playoffs beginning, and that was a very stable Joey Logano and not face. What happened here with the pace car? It has hit the barrels on pit entry.
So the pace car turning in late.
Oh, my goodness.
Was there a contact with the 9?
Oh, my goodness.
What has happened?
They're going to have to fix. They're going to have to fix the end of these barrels, the barrels at the end of the wall. Those are there for safety in case the car would impact the end of the wall.
Yeah, he was not going to make it. The late decision.
Chase Elliott say that was a bit of a late decision.
I tell you what, you never know what you're going to see. I mean, just when you think you've seen it all.
This is a new one for me.
So you heard him. Chase said he looked like the pace car made a late decision to come on pit road.
Now, you might be relieved to know that the pace car driver in this this moment wasn't Michael Phelps. He was the honorary starter in the pace car. But yeah, that was that's a pretty severe angle, Jeff. What's this?
Just turned too late. There was no way he could make it.
Oh.
Well, Jeff, I'll give you credit. You've given Diff and I rides in the pace car for 20 weeks straight. I feel pretty good about our performance. We haven't done this yet.
Jeff, you haven't given us that kind of a ride.
Well, maybe next year.
Oh, it got that.
Oh, yeah.
That tickled MJ's funny bone, that's for sure.
You know what, though? For championship teams, drivers, that's something that kind of takes a little tension away for a little bit, right? It gives you something else to focus on a little bit. And now, the pace car official in NASCAR, they're not laughing about it. But, you know, there's these moments of, you know, less intensity, and this is one of those where everybody can kind of laugh a little bit, make fun of the pace car driver, and take their minds off of the championship battle for just a moment.
What I would say, though, is looking forward to the event. This is going to take a while.
Yes.
Those barrels, yesterday in the Xfinity Series race, we saw cars go just past those barrels running the groove. It's going to have to be repaired.
The pace car driver's going to have in his defense, he's going to say, hey, Kyle Larson did that at Homestead last year, you know, or in the past. We'll come back. NBC Sports coverage of the NASCAR Cup Series Championship is brought to you by Coca-Cola Zero Sugar. Is it the best Coke ever? And by National Debt Relief, helping you become debt-free. Welcome back. Beautiful day in the high 70s here in the desert. And yes, put this one on the things you didn't expect to see as we welcome you back to the NASCAR Cup Series Championship presented by Brez Tree. Pace car hitting the end of pit road sand barrels. And that's why they're being replaced. Not replaced, just fixed, put back into place. And pit entry getting fixed up. That's why we've come to this stoppage and everybody working as quickly as they can. All right, we're still kind of dissecting, Parker, that 22 pit stop, so tell us more.
Right, Lee, and it's red flag. This odd red flag gives us a chance to catch up with crew chief Paul Wolf here on the 22 team. You guys were great to start there, led there and won stage one, but we had a slow pit stop. What happened there?
Yeah, obviously a little disappointing. You know, the Shell Mustang's been good to start the race. We have good pace, but everyone's pretty close. As you can see, it looks like track position is going to be tough to make today, so we're gonna have to clean up pit road, but overall I think our car's pretty close. Made a few small adjustments. Obviously we may not have gone enough when we get back here in the dirty air, but we'll have to fight through it, and we still got a long ways to go.
What do you tell the guys there if they have a stop like that?
Well, I mean, they've been doing this long enough. They know they'll brush it off and clean it up, and we'll be fine. It's part of it, and just got to move on.
Marty, that's the calm leadership of Paul Wolf and his 22 team.
Yeah, let's chat with Jonathan Hassler, the crew chief for the other team, Penske entrant, with Ryan Blaney. So, I mean, it's kind of a moment of levity here with what happened with the pace car, but does it give you a moment to kind of step back and sort of reevaluate how stage one went?
Yeah, it's a little break for us for sure. Like you said, we can, you know, look at what we did, kind of look at some of the changes that maybe our other teammates have made and some of the things that they were fighting. You know, we had a decent speed there, but, you know, want to make it a little bit better.
All right, so let's talk about Ryan was really having to work hard to get around Tyler Reddick. Did he maybe find something that can help him later in the race?
Yeah, you know, he definitely ran the apron a lot that run and, you know, started making a little bit of time. Our 3 and 4 was pretty good, and I think he made 1 and 2 a little bit better as we went. I think he picked some of that up from the 45.
So while it was not a good stop for the 22 team, it was a good stop for the 12 team, Lee. They gained 2 spots here on that last stop.
And even though he's always traveling around the world, the captain, Roger Penske, is here on site watching 2 of his drivers fight for a NASCAR Cup Series title. Yep, this one wasn't on our radar when we woke up this morning. But hey, you got to deal with everything. You've even got to have a backup pace car. Jeff, that's your one. That's the one you take Stevie and I around in.
I didn't wreck it.
Powerball got the crowd at Phoenix Raceway fired up with a live drawing for $1 million in the NASCAR Powerball playoff. In a thrilling finale featuring the final 4 Powerball players, Megan Lewis, a Louisiana lottery player, was declared the winner when her number was drawn from the Powerball machine. We are excited to officially announce that Powerball will be back in 2025 with its NASCAR Powerball playoff promotion. Stay tuned to your state lottery for entry dates. And remember that every time you play Powerball, you support important causes in your home state. Powerball, the official lottery game of NASCAR.
Huge congrats to Mrs. Lewis. And that too is a game changer like today's going to be for the Championship 4. Okay, situation clear and cleaned up. You got 2 round of 8 drivers on the front row here. They could have easily been in this Championship 4. They're not, but they're going to race for a win. We're back to racing. Stage 2 is on. Look at William Byron. Second car down. That Exalta Chevy looking for a way through on his teammate. And Christopher Bell goes sweeping up on the high line. Championship 4 drivers. There's 3 of them bunched together. The teammates are working. Byron down low. Reddick's behind his co-team owner, Denny Hamlin. This, folks, is what we wanted, to see the Championship 4 grouped together, duking it out.
This is a great opportunity to gain track position. You get in front of someone that may never get you back. It's also an opportunity to learn what you can do on restarts. Truex jumping to the outside of Logano. Logano blocking it.
On board now with Truex down in 3 and 4. Right on the left rear corner of the 22 of Logano.
You heard the crew chief Paul Wolf say that they made an adjustment, but they did not make an adjustment big enough for losing the track position because of the bad pit stop. Now Logano's car does not drive anywhere near as well as it did when he was out front.
3 of the top 7 cars are Joe Gibbs Racing Toyotas. This is the first time that JGR has not had a competitor in the Championship 4. It's a strange feeling. However, if they can't be in the Championship 4, they'll go for the race win, and that's where Bell is.
Good set of corners for Logano. They got him in front of Denny Hamlin now. Reddick and Larson side by side.
Reddick drove very well in stage 1, particularly the latter third, just to handle that sustained pressure from Ryan Blaney. Neither made a mistake, and Blaney just pipped him at the end.
Well, when we talk about the pressure of the day, these are the moments I like to really watch the competitor, because Reddick's running 9th. That would seem successful. But Logano, Byron, Blaney, his 3 other Championship 4 competitors are 3rd, 4th, and 5th, respectively. So, can you stay patient, as all the drivers said they wanted to? You still have enough racing, but are you convinced of that, as now he's continuing to be under attack, now from the 77 of Hocevar?
This youngster, who's going to win Rookie of the Year today, he said he's got big plans for next year, Jeff. He wants to be in the top 10. He wants to be at the front. He wants to try and make the playoffs.
Yeah, I think they have the pace to do it. Spire Motorsports has continued to make improvements. Very competitive this year. Talked about it last week in Martinsville. He has some work to do in this offseason, learning how to navigate himself through these long cup races.
I think Michael McDowell moving from front row over to Spire, that experience behind the wheel will help youngsters like Hocevar, right? To have that veteran driver that can help with that emotion you talk about, Jeff. You know, hit a lot of things last week at Martinsville, right? That's what he has to clean up. It's not speed. He has the overall pace.
This second stage has not started or is going to plan for the 45. And let's talk more about that, Dave. Tyler seems to be going the wrong direction.
Well, he's sort of stationary right now, Lee. Remember, they made a little adjustment to try to help him get the bottom line better, but he's been stuck on this high line ever since the restart. No report yet from the driver. They lost 1 spot on pit road. But yes, now that he's passed by the 77, definitely not the direction they want to see here, Kim.
And the 77 of Carson Hocevar had high hopes for today. They ran well here in the spring. In fact, they made the second round of qualifying for the first time in his career back in March. They've run well at similar tracks, so they have a little bit of a notebook heading into today. Phoenix was one of the first races of the year next year, so running well today is going to be very important to starting the momentum momentum in 2025. They made no adjustments on the car that last stop for Carson Hocevar.
You may have noticed that little statistical nugget in yellow on that graphic. 4 top 10 finishes in the last 13 races. That shows where he's trending. He started on the front row. There's been many highlights for that youngster in his rookie season.
2 cars that were involved in last week's controversy, both penalized this week. 23 of Bubba Wallace, the 1 of Ross Chastain. Both operating with different spotters on the roof and crew chiefs on the pit box because of those penalties, but having decent days. Just outside the top 10, Wallace 11th, Chastain in 12th.
The spotter situation is important. This is the last race of the year. You have been working with that spotter all year long. You're in tempo. You know exactly what his words mean. You've really got to double check your mirrors and make sure you completely understand what your new spotter is saying.
Well, Jeff, to your point, do you remember when Justin Haley switched from Rick Ware Racing to Spire and he got in an incident? It takes a while to get used to the cadence and just the vernacular, you know, just the lexicon of a new spotter and a different spotter.
Yeah, late in the year, you would expect when a spotter says something, it's 100% trust, you just do it. But you can't do that with a new one.
Christopher Bell has just under a 1-second lead over Chase Elliott. Then we get into the championship 4 drivers. Blaney, Byron, Logano, 3rd, 4th, and 5th.
So this is a little bit of what we saw yesterday. Just felt like Ryan Blaney had really good pace. Did a nice job of getting track position himself on the initial start of the race, methodically driving himself up, and then pit crew did a good job. This is what the competition feared, Steve. Is this car with good track position, they're going to have to make adjustments and get a little better.
On Friday, it was fun to have a 50-minute practice session, and this man we ride with was the fastest on a single lap pace, 5-lap, 10-lap, 15-lap runs. But he didn't qualify where he wanted to, Marty. But when interviewed yesterday, he didn't seem fazed by that. He's like, we've got our game plan. We know we can go and do it.
Yeah, Lee, I can tell you there was no panic in the 12 camp because they knew what a good long-run car they had. And also, when he was trying to pass Tyler Reddick in stage 1, Blaney learned a little bit of something. Listen to this under caution a moment ago.
Does that allow you to kind of get off the apron, still roll speed in 1 and 2? I just feel like the apron has a ton of grip. I'd kind of prefer to be down there. Copy.
So that's an interesting point, Jeff. Later in the run, Blaney feels like there's more grip lower in turns 1 and 2, almost all the way down to the apron. You can already see him underneath that yellow line. Have you ever, Jeff, in your driving career, accidentally found some grip on the track and said, hey, I'm going to file that away and use it later?
I think every time you're on the racetrack, you're trying to make moves, you're trying to pass somebody. It's an opportunity to learn, and the only way to pass them is to be where they're not. So there's been multiple times in my career that I've gone somewhere trying to make a pass and found it to be better. Now, unfortunately, there have been some times where people did that to me. One of Dale Jarrett, I remember one night in Richmond, jumped on the outside, beat me for that race win. I don't hold any hard feelings, but I hadn't forgotten it.
Yeah, I've seen you literally let that go.
Yeah.
Right behind us.
It's about the 3rd time it's come out this year. Something about it.
Coca-Cola on board. Chase Elliott looking back at Ryan Blaney. Blaney yet to be victorious here at Phoenix Raceway. Maybe today can be that day and make him a 2-time NASCAR Cup Series champion and the first to defend a title since Jimmy Johnson more than a decade ago.
The racing here at Phoenix is kind of a tale of 2 races. It's like a football game that both has the passing and the running game. The restarts are like the passing game. You know, it's flashy, they're 5 wide, you make your moves, but then when you settle in, it becomes the running game, a game of inches, and that's really what we're watching here with Blaney, right? As we ride on board with Chase Elliott, looking at the work he's doing behind the wheel. You know, it's an inch or a foot at a time, Jeff, right? He's trying to pull away by an inch or a foot, Blaney catching him a foot at a time. It's really eliminating the mistakes. When I look at the teams that are the best here, they're the ones that can be the most consistent, the fewest simple mistakes. I don't mean big ones like speeding off pit road, just missing a couple feet of your line in one corner.
This is a game of inches. Driving a race car, it's an art. It's about being in the right place, carrying the right speed.
That was McDowell you saw peel left and come to pit road. He's been on pit road a couple times here. Obviously has some sort of issue in the 34.
Want to remind you about DraftKings Sportsbook. It's an authorized gaming operator of NASCAR, and this week, new customers You can bet $5 and pocket $200 in bonus bets instantly. Download the app and use the promo code SPEED when you sign up. DraftKings Sportsbook, the crown is yours. And usually we show you more drivers than this, but today the focal point is the Championship 4. Who's got your eyes, Steve?
Well, live odds, remember, you don't have to win the race. This is the championship, so the highest finisher of those 4, Blaney, currently holds that position. 3rd, 4th, and 5th for Blaney, Byron, Logano. I can't believe you can get Reddick at 7.5 to 1. I mean, he's down there at 10th. These odds don't seem to move a whole lot during the week, but the live odds have shifted. We see an obvious favorite with Blaney. It was speeding for McDowell we're hearing, so that's why he peeled off on pit road in front of these two.
So you spoke about it, this inch by inch for Blaney trying to catch Chase Elliott. Chase Elliott knows that. Chase has seen what Blaney's trying to do in 3 and 4. He's just put the car right on the bottom of the racetrack. This is the end of the racetrack where they're doing different. Chase up the racetrack a little bit. Blaney running that apron that Marty said he liked so much.
Let's talk about the man running 6th at the moment, Martin Truex Jr. What you got, Parker?
Well, Lee, when we come to this Championship 4 race, fans always want to know, how do those non-Championship drivers race against the Championship 4? And I can tell you from experience, we do kind of give them a little bit of a break, but everyone has a breaking point. Take a listen to Martin Truex Jr.'s radio.
We're going to go as fast as the blocker in front of me. I about got into him on a restart. He's blocking so much. Next time I'm not lifting for him, so I want to relay that message for the next one.
And that is the case for Martin Truex Jr. there, that doesn't want to give any more. You try to give them as much as you can, Jeff, but everyone has that breaking point where you're pushed too far, you think it's affecting your race too much, and that's what he felt Joey Logano was doing. That could be frustrating.
Very frustrating, Parker. And, you know, what Truex said is, hey, I cut you some slack.
Yeah.
I want you guys, he's not just talking to his team, he's talking to his spotter to go tell the spotter for Joey Logano, hey, no more of that. I cut you some slack the first time. That's your one shot at it. You won't get it again.
This color scheme you see on the 19 harkens back to 2004 when Martin made his Cup debut for Dale Earnhardt Incorporated, that DEI color scheme, and he did 5 seasons with DEI. Then he went to Ganassi, then he went to Waltrip, and then those years in black at Furniture Row when he was crowned a champion. And this is his 6th and final season with Joe Gibbs Racing. It has been a remarkable career, and pretty cool to think that he started his Cup career in car number 1. He started position number 1 today and is racing to try and get a win in his final full-time season as a Cup driver. We're loving it here in Arizona. Hope you are too. A quick reminder that you can join NASCAR's free rewards program and start earning points that turn into member-only rewards, and you can earn every time you check in for a race. Today being the last chance this year, of course. Trade points in for free tickets, exclusive gear, autographed merchandise, and one-of-a-kind race day experiences. NASCAR.com/fan rewards. Here's Christopher Bell in the Interstate Batteries Toyota Camry, and Stevie, he won earlier this year, and he did that by winning stage 2. This could be a little bit of history repeating here.
Yeah, and you pointed out a couple times, I think if you look at any driver other than the Championship 4 that want to prove a point here, it's Bell, who went into the media center and had some strong statements about the actions we saw on the racetrack. He felt cheated, was his words, that he felt he should be part of this Championship 4. So the only real defense, or the only real moment he has now, is to go out and prove everybody wrong and win the race and kind of make that statement.
Christopher Bell, he is one of our future superstars, and I love the fact that he has now gained enough confidence in himself to go express himself the way he did. That's what we need from the leaders in our sport, and he's certainly one of them. Behind the scenes, Christopher Bell is doing some good stuff. I like him in front, telling people the truth and tell them something's got to be better, and he will use that. Don't make this guy mad. He's already super fast. You motivate him more, you'll have to deal with him for years to come.
So Diff, let's just set the stage. This second stage is 125 laps. It is going to require a pit stop. They can go about 90 laps on fuel, and we've seen them currently run only about 40, but it wouldn't shock me as we see this battle between the 9 of Chase Elliott and the 12 of Blaney finally heat up. Blaney to the outside of the 9. We'll see if he'll be able to complete the pass.
Nicely done. That's for second place.
Yeah, moved up into the second position, and I think with this high exit, he should have momentum off the corner. He does. So back to when they will come to pit road or not, I really believe in about 20 or 25 laps, we're going to see people come to pit road, not because they need fuel, but because these tires are starting to lose a little bit of speed. So that's this new wave of NASCAR racing. You don't run until you need fuel. You look at the math, the predicted number of yellows, and you be very aggressive. You come down pit road, get those fresh tires, and try to pass your opponents on the pit cycle. Now remember, pit road entry here, I thought, was pretty simple. Now I got the pace car already today, so I'm hoping these drivers paid attention and don't make a mistake.
So Ryan Blaney is the highest placed Championship 4 driver, Marty, in second overall. Let's talk more about him.
Yeah, he made much quicker work of his good friend Chase Elliott to get to second than he did in stage 1, trying to get around Tyler Reddick. And Blaney did not have any real complaints about the car, but he did ask, are people starting to run higher in turn 1 and 2? The response was, they haven't been able to make speed, but Blaney just did. And they're talking about what Steve talked about, Kim, pitting in about 25 laps.
Well, William Byron coming into his second Championship 4 appearance, and he felt way less pressure coming into this race. He said last year was an honor to be in the Championship 4. This year, it feels like they know what the goal is. It's to win the championship. Anything short of that is not going to be fun. Right now, the car, not very fun. He said it's tight center. They're telling him, Parker, to work on his entry.
Okay, for Joey Logano, he's trying to run down William Byron right now. He hasn't had many comments about the race cars. They've been put back in traffic after winning stage 1 and having that slow pit stop at the end of stage 1. But he did come on the radio and describe the brakes and saying he's lost the pulse in those brakes, which I can only assume means maybe a little bit of the life or the stopping power. So right now, just not having the stopping power that he wants that 22 car, Dave.
Parker, numbers usually don't lie, and Tyler Reddick was 4th in a lot of categories compared to the other Championship 4 drivers coming into today's event, but they're not giving up. Right now the car is just a little bit looser than it was earlier. He's being encouraged to try 5th gear in turns 1 and 2 and see if that'll correct the problem a little bit, but they've got to make some changes to this 45 car.
Well, we've seen time and again, Billy Scott, the crew chief for the 45 of Tyler Reddick, made some pretty good calls. Needing to be another call coming up to get that 45 back up front. Big thanks to Traveller Whiskey for providing our aerial coverage for this championship race with such a scenic backdrop. The Australia Mountains behind us here, where we're talking to you from behind the stadium that is this fabulous venue. As the NASCAR Cup Series Championship Day here on NBC, presented by Brestree, continues. Toyota on board here, showing us the man, Jimmy Johnson, 4-time winner here, 7-time Cup champ. You will see Jimmy, a little bird tells me, you'll see him again in the car next year. But Steve, your old friend, it'll be on a limited run. This is the 9th race for this year. Yes, he's on part of the ownership structure at Legacy Motor Club. He's really enjoying that, by the way, he told me yesterday. It's a different element to his professional life. And it's a big deal for the partners to see a legend, a Hall of Famer, still behind the wheel, even if it's just on the odd occasion.
Yeah, and I have to wonder as we start to see green flag pit stops start. The 11 of Denny Hamlin has came down to pit road. Kim.
Yeah, Denny reporting it was tight on initial throttle, and crew chief Chris Gabehart said this was a little bit of a science experiment this weekend for them. They were putting all their efforts in to helping the 45 of Tyler Reddick as he made his first championship appearance. So they'll look for a slight air pressure adjustment on that 11 car as the 22 makes his way onto pit road.
Right, Kim, as he comes down pit road, as he cycles start here, he was asking the team for more drive off than turn, which means he needs to be able to put the power down better on X in that 22. Ooh, he gets stopped there by Justin Haley coming out of his stall. This will slow down their cycle here. It'll be 4 tires and trying to add those adjustments to 22, Kim.
As William Byron makes his way, again, he has got pit stall 1. This squad, one of the best on pit road. They've been intact all 3 seasons of the next gen car. Like we reported, William Byron just a little bit tight through the center. 4 fresh Goodyear tires fuel, Dave.
Tyler Reddick wanted 4 fresh Goodyear tires with an air pressure adjustment to free it up just a little bit more. He thinks that'll help, Marty.
Highest running Championship 4 driver Ryan Blaney is the last of the Championship 4 drivers to come to pit road. He said he was losing a little bit of rear grip as the run went on, but he told Jonathan Hassler, keep going the direction you went on that first stop. And it's been a good start to the day for this Team Penske pit crew. They gained 2 spots here on the last caution stop. We'll see what they do on here under green.
We'll have to see if the extra laps hurt the 12. As he leaves pit road, we're looking for William Byron, the 9 of Chase Elliott, all the cars that he was racing before. I think the 12 is going to blend out in front of him. Here comes Byron right there. You see Blaney up the road just inside of Kyle Larson. Kim.
Christopher Bell early in the day was reporting that he needed turn better, mainly on throttle. He's got 1 number better he needed. This past run, though, no complaints from Christopher Bell on that Toyota.
So he's serviced and sent. It was good from the 12, Team Penske, the Menards Ford. Here he is. Blaney remains ahead of title contender William Byron.
I was waiting to see how much time the 20 had lost running those extra laps, but that's the advantage of having a 2.4-second lead. You could take a breath, you could pit last. So while he isn't currently leading the race, he's back to leading of the cars who have pitted. The ones in front of him, Larson, Hocevar, Bowman, Stenhouse, Gilliland, all those cars yet to come to pit road. Close call for the 22 of Joey Logano. Remember, penalized, didn't get to pick his stall, was assigned by NASCAR. And as he turns in right here, he has to just wait for the 7 of Justin Haley to leave. Really nice job of not making this worse. Heads up. You don't hate to give up the time, but damage to the 22 would be a big issue. Those are always kind of a, you know, who has the right? We get asked that question all the time. And in theory, the car coming in should have the right of way, but I always figure, Jeff, that if I can get out in front of you, I have to. I'm not going to sit in my stall and wait.
That's right. You got to go. And also, you can't be in denial. Joey Logano and his team making a good decision there and saying, hey, we just got to check up here, especially under a green flag stop, right? It's actually, when you have a slow stop, it's actually worse under caution because everybody comes down pit road. You never want to lose spots, but you also can't damage your car.
A couple of penalties that have been handed out. The 14 of Chase Briscoe for speeding and an uncontrolled tire on the 7 of Justin Haley. So that stop was a little costly for Justin and the Spire Motorsports team. Let's take a look at the Xfinity fastest lap, and it belongs to the man who has led 54 laps today. That's the Shell Pennzoil Ford of Joey Logano, trying to become a 3-time Cup Series champ here today. Look at this. For drivers who have won 3 or more. I mean, for the simple fact that Joey got into this sport at such a young age at this high level, and he's got 2 Cup Championships, stuff that drivers could only dream of. Now he's going to go into even more rarefied air if he can get a 3rd. To have his name there with DW, Darrell Waltrip, and Tony Stewart, and the late Cale Yarborough, David Pearson, would be incredible.
In front of both of them here.
That's what Martin Truex Jr.'s view looks like with thanks to Toyota. Dave, what you got?
Kyle Larson finally getting up at the point in the 5 car. It was a pretty good qualifying run for it to start the day, but it was too loose. Started this run a little bit tighter, but went too loose again. So still trying to get this car just right for Kyle Larson.
Larson's going to go out as the most successful driver this year as far as race wins concerned with 6. Maybe today could be 7. We'll see.
Running long for Larson's going to hurt his instant track position, but with 60 to go in the stage, we'll just have to see if the fresher tires pay off over this long run to the finish.
I feel like they made Joey Logano's car better. He was able to get by Hamlin. He's driven away from Truex. Looks like he has more speed in his car this run.
See that really cool design on Jimmy Johnson's Carvana Toyota? That was a competition winner, a fan, and that fan is here with the Legacy Motor Club team. Look how neat it is.
It's great representation, really. It reminds you of Phoenix. Without even knowing where he was going to race, it just seems like Valley of the Sun out here. Good looking car. Carvana's home is out here. His old 7-time. Think about as Legacy tries to improve, they're making changes in management and the executive and the engineering group, but there's certain things that I don't think engineering can do, and that's mindset and approach. The wealth of knowledge Jimmy can bring as somebody who's found success at such a high level in this sport.
So we've got just 1 left out there in terms of Todd Gilliland, who is yet to come in pit. Actually, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. as well as Christopher Bell has gone to the top, and he's the leader overall and the leader on that strategy on the early side of pitting, and has been in control for a solid 49, now about to be 50 laps, Steve.
Yeah, so when you ask, so why is Todd Gilliland and Ricky Stenhouse Jr. run? This isn't really about track position. This is actually about a lap, right? So these drivers felt like they were going to lose a lap to these leaders over the 125 lap run. They're going to lose a lap whether they pit with the leaders or whether they run long right here. So they're just putting themselves in position to have something go their way. We saw this work for Allgaier yesterday. It led him all the way to the Xfinity Series Championship. Run long, a caution is what the driver, the 38, and Ricky Stenhouse, the driver, the 47, are looking for.
When that tiebreaker situation came down and then the penalty to Christopher Bell saying, no, you're not going through to the playoff because you rode that wall, he walked over and he congratulated William Byron. William Byron said it was difficult for me. I couldn't celebrate somebody else's misfortune, but that was part of the high drama last weekend. 49 laps left to run in stage 2 here on Championship Day in the NASCAR Cup Series. Lee Diffie, Jeff Burton, Steve Letarte with you. And the 22 of Joey Logano from Team Penske got off to a flying start, led 54 laps. Then there's been a couple of setbacks, and there's more news within the 22 camp. Tell us more, Parker.
Right, Lee, it has to do with the pit crew here. They're making a change on pit road to their jackman, Graham Stoddard. He seems to be not feeling well. He's getting attention from the team's PT at this time. So Patrick Gray from the 2 car of Austin Cindric has come down here to be the jackman for the 22 team. I don't have any information on what's going on with Graham and why he's not feeling well, but right now they've already got Patrick Gray down here from the 2 team in his discount tire overalls right now, as you see there on the bottom left of the screen. So a jackman change on the 22 team. And Steve, you know, these are the types of things you have to be ready for. These organizations, anything can happen down here on pit road, and they've made this change on the 22.
Well, that is the advantage to a multi-car operation that unfortunately couldn't get all their cars in. They got 2 of their cars in, so you can't go take a pit crew member from the 12, right? So a 3-car operation, 4 if you include the Wood brothers, which they provide service to as well. But next man up, the Cindric car, and if you're Austin Cindric, you hate to lose a pit crew member, but you understand the situation. Cindric running 15th, but you know when you drive at a company like Team Penske, the ultimate goal is the championship, and you're going to have to lose your crew member for the greater good.
No different than in any other sport. Marty.
And Jeff, that 4th team that Steve just mentioned coming into play here as well. So Ty Snelson, the jackman for Harrison Burton, has now moved over to Austin Cindric's team. He's here in the 2 pits. So Team Penske working together throughout the organization to make sure that Joey Logano has the jackman that they want for the rest of this race.
Just hate that. You hope whatever this situation is, that it's not serious.
AMR safety team there for Graham from the 22 team, so we wish him well. And these are the things that can happen on Championship Day that test the full resources of the teams involved.
Well, you hate to see that. You hate to see anybody sick. Dylan obviously uncomfortable. The positive side of things is that, and he would love to hear this, they made that 22 car faster. There is no doubt about it. Joey Logano's been able to drive himself up to 4th place here, and he is the fastest car on the racetrack right now. A little concerned about this car. He led, but then he seemed to give up a little bit, then he got back in track, it lost his track position. I was worried they didn't have speed. I'm convinced now that they do.
Gap from the lead of Christopher Bell to Ryan Blaney in 2nd remains a pretty steady and stable 2 seconds. Goes to 2.1, goes to 1.9. It kind of fluctuates, but it's pretty stable.
What I was impressed with the 12 of Ryan Blaney is I thought the weakness of the 12 car was the short run, but it was actually the opposite off from pit road. When the 12 left his pit stall, went on a pit road, his first 2 or 3 laps on the racetrack compared to the 20s were much faster. So what I thought we have seen is the weakness of the 12 was the strength in this run.
So we watched the 30-year-old from North Carolina who's trying to defend his title. He's a 3rd-generation racer. Granddad Lou, and then, of course, Dad Dave. And when we spent some time with Ryan a little earlier this week, and Jeff, you can speak to this, right? Because racers of famous fathers, it gets to a point where they're like, hey, I'm the guy driving now. I don't want to talk about my dad all the time. But he said, you know what? Dad still does play a role in my job now. And he's not overbearing. He doesn't get over-involved. But he said he's still there as a resource for me. A, he's my dad. B, he's got a ton of experience. And he said sometimes he'll go out and stand in a corner and he'll tell me what he sees, and he'll do it when I ask him or when he feels it's pertinent. Doesn't press it. That's a pretty neat story.
It's a very cool relationship, and that family, they're just racers. Every one of them loves being at the racetrack, and I love the fact that Ryan says, hey, Dad, why don't you come to the racetrack this weekend? And just go down there and watch the race car. Come have a conversation with me. They get along great, and they have very much the same personalities.
What you got, Marty?
And Lee, it was a pretty infamous now conversation between Dave Blaney and his son Ryan Blaney in winning the championship last year. He told him there was a path for him to win the championship. And then after he won Martinsville, he told his son that path is now lit up. So Blaney hadn't heard from his dad in a while. So after the defeat at Miami, which was just gut-wrenching for this 12 team, he texted his dad and he said, any thoughts? And he said, the path is still there, son. It's a little muddy, but that is what cleats are made for. I can't imagine, Jeff, how important it is for Ryan Blaney to have that level of experience to lean on. And hey, cleats might get Blaney toward the championship today.
You always need a little advice, right?
Hey, my car just kind of took a big step and lost some grip on the last 2 laps. Kind of weird.
Just an update from the driver to his team. You see the work. It's mental fatigue on top of the pit box. You're asking yourself time and time again, not only how is your car performing, how are the competitors performing? You have all that data, all that information. You're constantly asking yourself every 4 or 5 laps, if we have a yellow now, what's the plan? Are we pitting? Are we not? What are the adjustments we're going to make? Where are we at on strategy? I will tell you, when you get done with these races, Diff, you climb down off that pit box, you're exhausted. It feels like you ran a marathon just with the questions you continue to ask yourself, not to mention communicating to war rooms. All these organizations have rooms back at their facilities in North Carolina. We're watching this coverage, dissecting the information. Joey Logano, you said, was better, and he's proven it now, Jeff, as he's really worked his way to the back of this 24 William Byron.
And to emphasize how important it is for everything to be perfect, Ryan Blaney just talked about he had this big loss of grip, right? I had this big loss of grip the last couple laps with the back of my race car. Second fastest the last 3 laps, okay? So to him, a big loss is actually, it's small, but he needs to express that in a way that his crew chief can understand it. That's a relationship that they have built over time. Early in their relationship, the crew chief might be doing, hey, we got to make a big change. He said it was a big problem. But now he understands that is how Ryan communicates.
William Byron up ahead. The Hunt Brothers Pizza View from Joey Logano.
Well, keeping up with the racetrack was the #1 goal that wanted to be different this year for the 24 of William Byron. He came here to Phoenix a year ago and had a good car, and they just didn't feel like they kept up with the changing racetrack. I've heard it both from driver, crew chief. Heck, we heard it from driver's dad walking through the tunnel here that we're going to keep up with the track. So you can see that's the mantra of the 24. We'll see if they're able to do it here as we're nearing in halfway.
Byron goes by RCR's Austin Dillon. Here comes Logano. Logano starting to turn up the heat on fellow Championship 4 driver. Watch that yellow 22 on the low side. This is for 3rd place. And Logano, can he make it stick? Byron's going to have some momentum on that high line. It's Hendrick Motorsports versus Team Penske. And there's a quiet confidence inside that 24 camp. They feel they can get it done.
Well, that was a good exit right there by Logano, able to stay on the quarter panel. Now he's going to enter turn 1 with forward momentum. This spot is his.
We'll slide up, shut the exit off for the 24.
Exalter on board. We were looking at William, now we're looking ahead at Joey. So Byron loses a position. The lead has come down to 1.6 seconds. Bell over Blaney. Xfinity delivers the fastest connection to every NASCAR race. You can enjoy ultra-low lag streaming and wall-to-wall Wi-Fi coverage from green flag to checkered flag, and the best seat in the house. Xfinity, bring on the good stuff. We got the good stuff here today with the NASCAR Cup Series Championship finale on NBC, presented by Brestree. It's a non-Championship 4 driver leading. He feels he should have been a Championship 4. That's Christopher Bell for Joe Gibbs Racing. But that lead has come down from as far as 2.1. Actually, one stage it was 3 seconds, down to around the 2s. And now Ryan Blaney is within half a second of Christopher Bell. It is on at the front.
It is going to be busy out front of Bell, who has traffic. Listen to the patience. I mean, that is as fragile as you can be with the throttle pedal on corner exit just because of the overall grip. Let's compare it to this end. Could be a little more aggressive on the exit of turn 4.
He's certainly running Bell down right here. Now, Bell has caught some good cars, some good lap traffic. Ryan Preece, who had good pace early in this race, got a little bit off on a pit cycle, pitted early, so he's on a little bit older tire.
You see Blaney basically just not following the 20, looking for that cleaner air. That was the groove. He ran a little bit higher, which helped him on corner exit. We'll see what he does here. Once again, kind of the middle, splitting the 20 in the lap car, the 44 of Yaley.
Whoa. Bell had his hands full there a little bit for a moment. Yaley is picking in the middle at the moment, and now Blaney's able to clear him. Just how much pressure will he put on him over these 23 laps? Does Ryan Blaney want to clear the 20 and then clear out, or is he happy just to sit there?
He is not happy to sit there. He needs this spot. We've already seen how important pit road's going to be today. You got to come on pit road leading this race.
One of the things Ryan Blaney said coming into this weekend as the reigning champions, trying to defend their title, he said, we're better. We're even better as a team than what we were last year. We were good enough to win this last year, and we're even better this year. I mean, his numbers, folks, how about this? As far as the laps he has completed have been quality laps, and he's been able to maximize. The percentage of laps completed this year, the best driver of the Championship 4, William Byron, who completed almost 98% of the laps. Ryan Blaney is the worst at 33rd on the list of percentage of laps completed, and he completed 627 laps fewer than William Byron, but was still able to make the Championship 4.
Well, I hear a lot of conversation about the format, but we have to understand that the competitors operate within the parameters set.
Absolutely.
I mean, you race, it's an unpopular statement, but the goal right now is to win stage 1, stage 2, and lead the final lap of the race. All the laps in between are just a pathway to get to those accomplishments. So you mention it, right? What Blaney is trying to accomplish, his approach is different than Byron's.
Well, don't forget those 7 DNFs. Remember, we spoke about that a lot. And a lot of them were early.
It's a great battle right here. Right in front of Blaney. Preece is putting up a huge fight, trying to keep Bell behind him.
Ryan Preece is down in 20th spot. That's where Bell has lapped to. Looking at that progressive telemetry on the screen. Some important numbers there. Just watch what Ryan does inside the cockpit. Throttle and brake trace.
19 cars on the lead lap.
While we watch this, I want to give a shout out to some other drivers, some non-Championship 4 drivers who have had a good run today. Chris Buescher in his RFK Racing Ford is up to 7th. He's made up 17 positions from where he started. So too with Daniel Suarez. He's made up 20 positions to be running 14th in his Trackhouse Chevy. Bubba Wallace has made up 18 positions. So there's 3 drivers for you who've had awesome days thus far with 17 to go in stage 2. And there's Buescher in that Fastenal Ford. He's just gone past Chase Elliott.
Season of what ifs for the 17. We talk about these photo finishes. Well, he was unfortunately on the losing end of a couple of them, Jeff, and then went on to win Watkins Glen in the playoffs. You just wonder if literally inches, right? If Buescher could be inches further ahead on one of those finishes earlier in the year, he would have been in the playoffs, what they could have made of it. Clean air now between Blaney and the 12 and the 20 of Bell.
That was my favorite finish of the year. I know Atlanta was closer, but just the drama of the Glen on that last lap. That was my
so
favorite.
It was good.
Jeff, that's no disrespect to Harrison either. It was a pretty close between those two.
Oh, yeah, listen, I could put a list together, too. I mean, we've had a great year of racing. I mean, it has been phenomenal. I could not, you know, you mentioned the format earlier. You know, the format is part of what's made the racing great. I mean, every race matters. Every lap matters.
Just trying to crawl his way forward to get up there and hassle Christopher Bell a little bit more. Blaney's on top of the championship 4. You can download the official app of NASCAR and follow the action with free live scoring, in-car camera and radio broadcast, and you can upgrade to premium for full access to driver audio channels and completely ad-free experience. Search NASCAR in your app store and download to start a free trial. As we welcome you back to the NASCAR Cup Series Championship here on NBC, presented by Brestree. Just 9 laps to go in stage 2, and look at this at the front. Christopher Bell, Ryan Blaney. Blaney had just been chipping away at Bell's advantage, and now, predominantly, we've seen his moves made on the inside. He's going up high. That Menards Ford is trying to round up the JGR Toyota, and here we go again.
Christopher Bell putting up a good fight, but too much forward momentum for the 12. Christopher to the bottom of the racetrack, right there. You can see Ryan Blaney able to accelerate.
Even though he won the championship last year, it was a source of frustration that he didn't win the race. Ross Chastain was just kind of hanging out there in front and making it difficult to Blaney. Blaney wanted to win the race and win the title. He got the second part, so maybe this year he's like, I'm not going to do that again. I'm not going to sit behind a non-playoff, non-championship Ford driver. I'm going to win this thing and win my second title.
These final 7 laps, important window of information for the teams. Crew chiefs asking their drivers what they need, confirming that feedback with the data coming from the car. This third stage is very similar to this second stage as Bell battles back on the bottom, unable to stay there in corner exit, but what adjustments. Now we have this end of the racetrack, 3 and 4, mostly in the shade. Sun starting to set. Anyone who's ever spent time in the desert knows the angle of that sun. There's no place colder in the morning and the evening and hot in the day. It also affects this racetrack the same way. It goes through that big temperature swing.
5 to go from here. Blaney dealing with some traffic. Up ahead, Harrison Burton's there. Chase Briscoe is in there. Here comes Bell.
Hey, what, Bell's made this bottom. I thought that the 12 of Blaney was going to drive away from him, but Bell is fighting him.
I think there's still quite a bit of venom in there from last weekend, Jeff, too. Just driving him. If I can't be in this championship I'm going to win this race, the final race of the year. I'm going to win back-to-back races in Phoenix. Corey LaJoie's another one on that list of drivers to get by as Bell draws alongside Blaney.
Well, Bell has a chance here. It goes, where is the lap car going to be when they get down in the corner? Everywhere. Is the answer too wide in front?
It's the defending champion and a future champion fighting it out here with just 3 laps left in stage 2. Ford versus Toyota. Traffic up ahead. How do they play it?
Here comes Logano.
This has worked out perfect for Joey, hasn't it? The traffic has played into the hands of the chasing 22.
And this is a dress rehearsal. While they don't care who wins the stage as far as points or anything like that, this is data. What do they need their car to do? This could be what it looks like in 129 laps from now for the race win. And I hope it does. I don't care the competitors, but I hope it looks like this all under a blanket.
Remember, first pit stop, Joey Logano, after he led 54 laps, he lost 4 positions on that first stop. They were on the back foot. They've lost their jackman to illness. Had to do a personnel swap. And then he has worked, and Paul Wolfe told us that from the pit box. It's okay. We'll settle back down. We'll settle into a rhythm, and Joey knows what to do. The pit crew knows what to do. We're not going to hit the panic button. Meanwhile, look at Blaney trying to weave through the traffic. Briscoe in that red 14. LaJoie in the 51 for Rick Ware. Casgrala up ahead. Final lap of stage 2. Ryan Blaney's going to get it.
Wow.
And he had to do it the hard way in traffic. That was thick.
It's pretty intense. I'm sure they're like, why are you lap guys fighting us like this?
All right, there is just 1 stage left in the 2024 NASCAR Cup Series Championship. Stage 1 went to Logano, stage 2 to Blaney. It's a Team Penske sweep. NBC Sports coverage of the NASCAR Cup Series Championship is brought to you by Bank of America. What would you like the power to do? And by Breadstreet. Please visit us at breadstreet.com. Well, we've been treated to some spectacular weather this championship weekend. We all arrived on Wednesday and geared up for this championship finale, and every day has been just beautiful weather. Crowd has been fantastic. Everybody pumped up because for the last little while, the last few months, Jeff, the racing and the finishes have been epic, and I think these fans, we were talking to them down in the pre-race show, they are ready to see something special for this championship fight.
Yeah, it's exciting. Even that, the end of that stage, end of both stages, very competitive. Logano's got to feel good about that. I mean, he's so fast at the end of that run.
So the Penske Fords have been strong in stages 1 and 2. What have we got with Tyler Reddick and William Byron in this second stage? They're questions to be answered. Let's get to the stops. Here's Parker.
And lead, Paul Wolf came on the radio and asked Joe Logano, that was fun. He said, yeah, we still have a lot to go. It's not over yet right now for Joe Logano. Also, remember, he has a new Jackman there. Patrick Gay has come over from the 2 car to fill in for Graham Stoddard on the 22, Dave.
Highland Red's car is a little free. They want to keep it freer. They're going to air pressure change just a little bit for Goodyear tires, Marty.
Ryan Blaney said, I just need it to hold on a little bit longer, Dave. So Jonathan Hasser is going to undo part of the last adjustment. It's been a terrific day on pit road for the 12. We'll see if they can keep it rolling, Kim.
And Marty, William Byron saying car has gone loose, especially on exit, burning up the rears. Whatever you can do to get me tighter under green is what he asked for. The race off pit road goes to Christopher Bell.
One position grab there. So too for William Byron. Blaney lost that spot. Logano loses just 1. And Chris Buescher continues his forward charge on an amazing day for that RFK Ford. But what about the championship 4? It all comes down to this final stage. This is it. Who's going to be the champion? Just 1 stage left on the season, and it all comes down to these guys here. The championship 4, who's got the magic when it counts? The defending champ up the top left, Ryan Blaney. Let's check in with Brad Doherty, Kyle Petty, and our Hall of Famer Dale Jarrett. DJ, get your crystal ball out. What do you see for this 3rd stage, given what you've seen so far?
Yeah, just outstanding competition as we've seen, comers, goers. The pit crews are doing their job, but the pressure mounts right now. They're going to have just under 120 laps to go, guys. You got to do everything right here and put everything that you have on the line.
Everything has to be perfect, and I point to Joey Logano. Had a slow pit stop at the end of stage 1. Took him 115 laps and 55 minutes to get back in position to see the front. This is only a 120-lap stage. That's all they have left in the season for a championship.
Yeah, I think that pressure becomes almost insurmountable for a couple of these guys. Not going to say any names, but they're struggling a little bit, and they cannot sniff that front. That has them upset and anxious. They're going to have to go. Everybody has to go. 129 laps, or not a lot of laps to race. Diff, I think it's going to be a pressure-packed 129 laps.
Brad, when you were playing in the NBA, how did you manage pressure? How did you manage stress? What were your tools?
I let that basketball fly. I'm going to shoot it every time. Every time.
I think Michael's laughing because he heard Brad's answer. That's what I think just happened right there, Brad. You answered, and MJ gave a little giggle. I don't know what.
He's sitting right beside me here. He's right beside us here. Absolutely. It's tough. And like I said, a couple of these guys haven't run as well as they'd like to.
Yeah.
And there's a ton of pressure on them. So we may see some sparks fly these next 129 laps.
Yeah.
Tyler Reddick shared with us that it's just unbelievable having a resource like Michael Jordan to give examples and to help him deal with this championship moment. He's been the 4th of the championship 4 for the majority of this race. Can he turn that around, Dave?
Lee, how about a resource like a teammate on the track in the same race at the same time? Listen to this.
Bubba, they make sure to tell you, get the minimum speed done early. Off the brake by the time you get to the sealer in 1 and 2. There's grip with the right side on the sealer, lane 3. So they can cut back down, stand to the tire. Copy.
So Bubba Wallace passing along exactly what's working well for him, that message relayed, and now Tyler's going to try to make something of it in this next stint.
And with all the conversation about multi-cars and multiple entries and everything that went down and the shenanigans last week, that is what teammates are supposed to do, right?
Yes.
That is the leverage and of the opportunity of having multiple people, right? Is absorbing more information, understanding more information. That's what we talk about when we talk about organic racing on the racetrack. Now, I wonder if Reddick said thanks, or if he got an eye roll, or like I would have loved to see Reddick's kind of reaction.
Well, Reddick's given us one of the most unbelievable last moment passes and races this year at Homestead Miami Speedway. He's got to come up with something special. Here he is here. He's got to come up with something special over these next 118 laps. We know that this guy's in it to the end. He's a fighter, but he's been languishing around about 9th, 10th, 11th place. That's not going to get it done, especially with the speed and consistency of Blaney, the speed of Logano, and the ever-presence of William Byron. How's it going to shake out? How is this championship going to be decided? We'll remember this one as stage 3 is on. Bell's got a mirror full of the charges. Logano, here goes Reddick. Here goes Reddick. We said that he needed to do something special. He's on the high side of 4 wide. Larson is up on the wall ahead of him. He jinks a little. They're moving around. There's contact. Busher got tagged from the back and hit the wall. Keeps going. That was Reddick on a full court press.
Those are the moves Jeff talked about. The 45 had the momentum in the final stage. He knew he wasn't clear of the 17, Jeff, but he hung the left. It was time for his championship opportunity in front of him. He had to be a taker in that moment.
Yeah, you got to get track position. He had an opportunity, and he took it. He was willing to risk it. I think it was a good decision. He hasn't had the pace as these other guys, and he's got to get around all those other people to get clean air, to figure out exactly what he's got.
Well, there they are, stacked up, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th on board with Reddick. The 3 cars ahead, the other 3 of the championship 4.
That was a crazy save from Busher. That could have been a big wreck. Watch this.
Essentially, it's 4 wide. Reddick says, all right, guys, here I come. Up against the wall, then moves down. What an aggressive move. And I'm going to tell you, Chase Elliott, he isn't happy. Chris Busher in the 17, he isn't happy.
I think Reddick thinks he needs to get left because he's going to have a run on the 5.
That's exactly what it was.
Watch the blue Napa car of Chase Elliott. Look how sideways he got. How that wasn't a multi-car wreck is incredible.
And Truex, one row behind, was thinking, okay, so this is how my last full-time race is going to end, because he was sure they were wrecking.
Teammates together. Ryan Blaney, Joey Logano, fighting over second place as Christopher Bell has bolted.
We talked to both of these Penske teammates, and I asked, what's it going to be like racing each other for a championship? And they didn't hold anything back. They said, we will race each other as hard as necessary, but one thing is for sure. If you're going to make the move to win the championship, you better be confident he doesn't eliminate both Penske cars. So what I heard there is push, shove, but you don't want to have to go back to Team Penske being the driver that eliminated both of the entries.
And Roger Penske is here. He is watching this battle, and he is nervous. This is, you love to see your cars out front, Div, but you also hate to see them side by side out front.
Think about this year for Team Penske. It started by winning the Rolex 24 at Daytona. There is the captain, center of your screen with the white shirt on. And following up from that Rolex 24, Joseph Newgarden goes on Memorial Day weekend to win the Indianapolis 500. Team Penske wins the IMSA WeatherTech Sports Car Championship in the GTP division. In the World Endurance Sports Car Championship, they win the Hypercar division. So the only thing left that they can win is this championship. They missed out on the IndyCar Championship, but it has been a phenomenal year for the captain squad.
Logano got by Blaney, but Blaney's not done with the fight. Remember, early in the race, Blaney liked to be on the apron just like that. He's been experimenting with it. Logano went down there and blocked that move. What's great about this race, and William Byron right behind it, is they know everything about each other. They know everything about the setups on the race cars. It is an open book policy. They changed nothing coming into this championship race, even to the point of after practice on Friday, they did everything exactly the same. They shared every bit of information. And those two drivers have a tremendous amount of respect for each other.
Well, we're talking about the individual drivers' accomplishments and who can be a champion or a two-time champion or a three-time champion. Well, what about from an organizational standpoint? Team Penske going for 3 in a row. Here's Joey's thoughts.
When you have a great boss, you want to be able to excel and show them what you got and provide a reason why they hired you, right? Like, and racing for championships is that reason why he hired me and why he hired our whole race team. Everybody is in the door is there for a reason, and the reason is to win. Like, that is the only reason Team Penske is around as a race team. It is there to win. Like, that's why we're there. We're not there to make money. We're there to win. And being part of that is something that is really special. But you also want to live up to that, right? Because that's a lot of pressure as well.
You talk to any current or former Team Penske driver in any division of motorsport, and they all tell you the same thing. We are never wanting for anything. We have all the resources we need, so that man there says, you have no excuses. Go do your job. Go win.
These are the first laps since all the way back in lap 72 that Blaney hasn't been in front of the championship for. As a matter of fact, Marty, when the 22 of Joey Logano went by Ryan Blaney, it's the first time the 12 had been passed on track all day.
Yeah, and Steve, maybe the first chink in the armor handling-wise for the 12 team. Listen into the radio.
Hi. Everything's chattering. Thinking I'm terrible here, bud. Copy.
Ryan Blaney followed that up with just no grip, especially on corner exit, and it was a very small adjustment by Jonathan Hassler to sort of undo the last adjustment he did, Steve. But here at Phoenix, how much does this racetrack change? You can see 1 and 2 completely in shade right now here in stage 3.
Yeah, like I mentioned earlier, out here in the desert, the temperature goes through huge swings, and this track moves with them. And I really believe that's the signature of this race. I think all the drivers knew it too, and we talked to them all week. They knew they had to be best at the end. Much easier said than done. Especially with the two ends of the racetrack being very different. You know, you have to compromise on your adjustments as they are.
Championship 4, second, third, fourth, and fifth. There's Tyler Reddick. The Xfinity mobile on board. He's got Kyle Larson chasing him down. Bubba Wallace has done a great job a couple of positions further back to be now inside the top 10 along with Chris Buescher and Daniel Suarez. They've been the monster movers on the day, that's for sure. Huge position gain. The rookie Carson Hocevar just sitting outside the top 10 just behind Alex Bowman. He's had a good run today as well. Noah Gragson running inside the top 15. Martin Truex is just drifting back a position or two at a time. Martin's now running in 13th. You know what blew me away earlier this week, fellas? We chatted with Tyler Reddick. I asked him, that move you pulled off at Homestead Miami Speedway, was that the best move of your career? And he said, no. He said, the move I did on Cole Custer to win one of my 2 Xfinity Series championships, that was the better move. It's like, wow, that was impressive. If you got a move up your sleeve that topped Homestead Miami Speedway, that brought that guy to joy. Smile ear to ear from Michael Jordan.
He's not real happy right now because he can see that he doesn't have the pace that they need right now. He's got great clean air. You couldn't have a better racetrack than what he has right here. You can see that, you know, Byron and Blaney, Logano have gotten away from him. So he's got great clean air, but he just cannot make the pace. He's 2.5 tenths off, and that is a ton.
And this challenge from Larson is going to distract him. He's just under 5 seconds off the race leader, Christopher Bell. He doesn't need to win the race. He just needs to win the race against the other 3 guys to be the highest finishing of the championship 4. He's in a better position than what he was in stages 1 and 2, but he's got to find something here. This is that magical move to get himself into the championship 4.
Rockets into the corner to the outside of Blaney. I didn't think there was any chance at that pace he could stay out of the wall. He proved us wrong, jumped back on the gas and drove right around the 12 to go to victory lane.
And was celebrating coming off turn 4. One hand on the wheel, one hand fist pumping. That was awesome. There's MJ thrilled. That's one of the memories of season 2024 that we will talk about throughout the off season and heading into the 2025 NASCAR Cup season.
And with 99 laps to go, I'll remind everyone that yesterday the Xfinity Series champion was a lap down at this point in that race, right? The last 100 laps completely changed the complexion of that race with some late race restarts. We need pit stops still. All of these competitors need fuel and tires. When those pit stops will come is yet to be determined. I expect somewhere between lap, say, 240 and 250. So we're at 215 right now, so I would say between 25 and 35 laps from now.
Speaking of that Xfinity Series finale, get to that in a moment. We're going to show you Ricky Stenhouse Jr. what happened to the Talladega winner. Whoa. Wow. Oh, boy. That was like a motorcycle. Oh. That was like a motorcycle tank slapper. One side to the other, back to the other, and the other, and ricocheting off the wall.
Yeah, they were a little bit of different strategy. They were trying to make something happen. Everybody else had pitted on 189. He was 155, so much older tires.
If you don't know the Xfinity Series Championship result, block your ears if you haven't watched the race yet. For those of you who have, we want to say congratulations, Justin Allgaier. That was one of the most phenomenal races I've seen. And that comeback from the back of the field in the first stage, he drove into the top 10 with no cautions and then went a lap down and came back to win his first title.
I saw Dale Jr. was walking around earlier congratulating Martin Truex Jr. I was shocked he had put the championship flag down yet. He was carrying it around all day yesterday in the media center. So congrats Allgaier, Jim Pullman crew chief and team owner, both Kelly and Dale Jr.
Uh-oh.
Some issues for the 41.
Just going to bring out a caution.
Something is broke, maybe a toe link or a flat tire. I believe the right rear is pointing wherever it wants to point, which is going to make this car nearly impossible to drive. Still under power and underway. This is right at the start finish now. You would expect the 41 should get left, get on the apron. I think you'll be able to get this around to pit road.
The final race for the Stewart-Haas organization. This will be Haas factory racing next year with just one car of Cole Custer. So we wish all the men and women of Stewart-Haas all the best in the future. And it's the end of an era, and a very successful era, we should say. changing times in the NASCAR Cup Series. As this championship still needs to be determined. Just look at that for a shot. Take a moment to have a look at this venue. 2019, the construction happened. Down came the old grandstands, up came the new, the suites, unbelievable spectator areas. This place is first class for the fans. The drivers love it too. And this aerial coverage today brought to you by Traveller Whiskey. Championship 4. Logano's the highest at the moment, but Blaney has bridged that gap. Byron is hanging in touch. Unfortunately, Tyler Reddick is bleeding time. He was less than 5 seconds behind race leader Bell, but now he's out to nearly 7.5 seconds.
And the battle is on between Blaney and Logano. Blaney has been complaining about just no grip, chattering tires, but in the last 5 or 7 laps, it seems like the 12 car has improved. The 22 has slowed down. Now Blaney has run the 22 down with 86 laps to go. This will be a dogfight on the racetrack and a chess match on the pit boxes. There's enough tire fall off that I believe between these two, and I would even include Byron, who's about a 1.5 seconds back down the road. If Byron could get to pit road a lap or two before these two, I think he would cycle to the lead. Blaney wants to take care of it himself, though, as he looks left.
He really does. 2 Fords, a Chevrolet, and a Toyota in the Championship 4. Here are those 2 Fords.
This will be a very difficult pass. Blaney is clearly faster, but Logano is going to do everything he can to keep him back there. These are 2 of the smarter race car drivers. Blaney trying something different to the top.
Joey said, we've become better teammates since Ryan won the championship. And he meant that sincerely. He said, you know, Ryan had less to prove because he was a champion, had become a champion. We asked Blaney about that comment, and he said, yeah, that's fair. That's true. He said the dynamic changed when Brad Keselowski left the organization. And kind of, I had to step up. You know, I felt like I needed to step up, right? Be kind of I'm growing older. I'm 30 now. I'm a champion now. And he said, yeah, I don't take exception to Joey's comments. I probably am a better teammate. We are better teammates. We work together better. And now they're fighting for a championship.
That makes the, I'm sorry, Jeff, I was going to say that makes the whole organization stronger when the two faces of the organization. I know Cindric's a driver there as well, but these are the two champs, right? That's natural leadership.
It's so interesting as Blaney caught Logano. Logano was forced to start trying something different, and when he did, he ran the fastest lap that last time by. Blaney's still quicker. Blaney trying to work the outside, going to the outside. Logano on the bottom trying to block him. There you go, Blaney is going to get beaten in the middle of the corner, but this corner exit, running that top lane, he was hoping it would make it a little better than it does. You can see him start to gain. Again, to the top of the racetrack. If he could ever get by right next to the 22 car, he would be in the preferred spot.
Here's Parker Kligerman. What you got? We'll get back to Parker in just a moment. By the way, William Byron is not a million miles behind this either. Byron's only 1.5 seconds behind the 12, sitting in 4th place. Look at this traffic coming into play. One goes high, one goes low. Blaney's going to need to alter his line.
So what Blaney has done is he's starting to increase his entry speed on corner entries, right? So it's not about always making lap time. He's trying to get to the left, to the right rear quarter panel of that 22, because if he can, watch this, trying to drive in the corner deep. If he can get next to him, then Logano can't open the exit up. He's got to pinch his car off, and that would put Blaney in the preferred position. So Blaney, inch by inch, is trying to get to that track position. Now to the bottom.
Feel bad, I just stuck in dirty air.
Oh, Logano loose.
Whoa. Did he say I was stuck in dirty air? And then now he draws alongside his teammate, Blaney, pressing as hard as he can and clears his teammate.
Great work. Just kept showing Joey Logano, I want the outside, want the outside. Logano was setting up for that, and then Blaney went to the bottom.
So now you question, what does Paul Wolfe do? A master of strategy on top of the pit box. The 12 has now run you down 41 laps in and passed you on the racetrack after you passed the 12. So how long do you run? Because now the advantage as far as coming to pit road moves to the 22. He could perhaps peel off from behind Blaney, and Blaney doesn't have a chance to counter.
Marty, let's talk more about Blaney. That was quite the move.
Yeah, it was a terrific move to be the first of the championship four. You see the crews getting ready here, and Blaney knew time was running out, and he said, I need to make a move now, and the 22 makes the move. They come to pit road here, Parker.
Parker's having some technical difficulties, so let's look at this pit stop for the 22. Paul Wolfe on the bottom right, lean forward, will look to his right and call him in. 3, 2, 1 on the mark. Clean so far on the right side. Remember, replacement Jackman, medical issue for the first Jackman on the 22. He woke up today thinking he was pitting Cindric. Instead, he pits Logano. Perfectly clean from Logano, in and out. We will see how quickly Blaney counters who's on pit road now.
That was slick. That was slick for the 22 team. And now the sister team answers. Here come the champs.
Gently move, counter move. Jonathan Hassler, who learned under Paul Wolfe, immediately answers that call. Blaney did say the car is definitely better, and I can run the bottom if I need to. I can also run the top of the racetrack if I need to, and they have that long run speed black for Ryan Blaney, hitting here with 75 to go.
This is where it's all going to happen. Blaney off pit road, the 22 of Logano on the racetrack. Blaney has a ways to go because of where he's pitting. Just now getting to pit road speed. You see track left, that bright yellow shell forward, the 22 of Logano.
It's going to be close.
He should be able to take the momentum by. I would imagine Blaney can't get downshifted in time. Oh, he can't. They're going to rejoin right as they started on this pit exit. But does Blaney fire? He's right behind Bell.
Blaney has one lap less tire on his tire, so it should fire off really good right here. He should have an advantage.
Pardon me. William Byron has stayed out. Let's wait for the Hendrick Motorsports 24 to pit.
And his strategy might be run long here. His strategy might be, we hope a caution comes to us. We don't believe we have a chance to beat them heads up. We'll have to wait and see. Yeah, the 24 stays on the racetrack.
That's way too early. Keep running.
I like
Way
Rudy
too
Fugle.
early. Keep rolling.
Way too early. 73 to go. They just pitted with 45 laps on their tires. What Rudy Fugle's saying, we are not going to be pulled into this strategy. We're going to run 15 or 20 more. We're going to pit, and we're going to use 2 sets of Goodyear tires, the exact same amount of laps, make this road trip exactly equal.
William Byron knows he's on a different strategy. He saw that happen. Those simple words, it's too early, that gives William Byron confidence that Rudy Fugle has made the right call. Rudy has a plan, and he's sticking to it.
Let's talk about Tyler Reddick. Here's the 45. Dave, tell us more.
Lee, he was on and off of pit road at the same basic strategy as the 2 Penske cars. I asked Billy Scott if running long, like the 24 is doing, like they did at Homestead before they got the lucky caution, if that would work here. He said, I don't think so. You won't see us running long. The tire fall off is too great. That's not a strategy I will employ. Reddick stuck with the Penske strategy.
So the Exalta Chevy stays out for Hendrick Motorsports. Rudy Fugle has a bag full of championships that he was involved in at Kyle Busch Motorsports in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. There he is. Has he just made a championship winning call? We will find out. Byron leads. All right, here it is. We went to the break saying, is this the championship winning call? We will see. Here comes William Byron for Hendrick Motorsports, the final one of the championship 4 to pit. Kimmy Kuhn, he's coming your way.
Yeah, and Lee, this crew is the only one of the championship 4 that pitted yesterday in the Xfinity race. And while the cars are different, the crew told me they felt like working yesterday was an advantage to them to get their mindset on being race ready. Williams said we needed just way more grip on exit. The crew going to work right now under green, taking those 4 fresh Goodyear tires. Slight air pressure adjustment for William Byron. Looks like a clean stop, and he is down and away under green.
Yeah, unfortunate part for this strategy, or at least the concern for the strategy, these extra laps, these 12 extra laps that William Byron has run on the racetrack after Blaney and Logano have pitted, are going to put the 24 way back on the physical racetrack itself, almost a half a lap behind, because the new tires for Logano and Blaney work so well. But remember, now William Byron has new tires, and he's going to have fresher tires this entire run. So he was 2.7 back before these guys pitted. Oh, and he pits a lap too early, or maybe perfect, because now he has fresh tires. The 71 in the wall. Well, that looks like a right rear flat.
Zane Smith for Spire Motorsports.
Catch your breath. Catch your breath. Get your wind in it down to can. They're coming to you.
Big hit for the 71. William Byron. This will work out very well for the driver. The 24 has fresh tires, but how about this hit for Zane Smith?
What a shame. There's been some really good high points for that young driver this year. He's unsure of his future after today. How's this going to shake out for this man? The only Chevrolet-powered car in, the only Hendrick car in.
Well, I mentioned how far behind Blaney and Logano and Reddick Byron was going to be, and he was in physical racetrack distance. But now with this caution, he's going to pull right up to their rear bumper.
Good to see Zane out of the car. Here's how it transpired.
Oh, early, like he has a problem or a flat tire.
I think, there's some sort of problem, right? I mean, the thing went around so early and so fast.
Oh, man, that's a big hit.
This is only the second caution today under race conditions. The stage breaks were the other two, and both cautions, fellas, that we've seen have been huge hits.
Yeah.
Ty Gibbs and Zane Smith.
Absolutely.
He had pitted about 15 laps before this happened.
See Zane climbing out, going to the safety truck.
All right, this guy here said last year, William Byron said, when I made the Championship 4 for the first time, I was nervous. I got affected by the outside noise. So did Rudy, my crew chief, the two of us. And we made a pact this year, Jeff. We made a pact we weren't going to listen to the noise. We weren't going to be distracted, and I'm certainly not nervous going into this year's Championship 4.
Well, I think that experience, that's what matters, right? You've come out, you run through those times, Steve, where you have experiences, you have things that you have to go through. And when you go through them, even if it doesn't work out, you learn from it.
So the question now, Larson, Elliott, absolutely coming to pit road. They stayed out. They got the caution. This is perfect for them. Bell, Blaney, Logano, Reddick. You see their tire count right here. Since last pit, 16, 15, 14, Byron with 3. I believe, and this is awful, but I believe if you're Blaney, Logano, and Reddick, you cannot give Byron a 12-lap tire advantage with what could be the final run of the race. You must pit right here. There are only 7 cars on the lead lap. You will flip the 24 to the track position, but I just don't believe you can give a Championship 4 competitor this much of a tire advantage. This is how many lap down cars were between them. So let's see what the rest of the Championship 4 decide. The decision first will be on, there you go, Bell, Blaney, Logano, Reddick will all pit. This will hand the race lead to William Byron.
Parker, you back online? Have we got you?
I'm back here, and as you saw there, Joey Logano decided to come down pit road. Paul Wolf asked him about that last adjustment. He didn't like it. He said, give me what I had a couple runs ago when he was the fastest car on the racetrack. So that's what they plan to do for the 22 Ford tires. No fuel, Dave.
Tyler Reddick has a new problem. It's the opposite. His car is tighter now. They'll try to free him up with air pressure here, Marty.
Ryan Blaney said it took off better that run, Dave, but it was, quote, a little squirmy in the rear. He said, I need just a touch of more turn. Kim, how about that decision by Rudy Fugle to keep William Byron on the track?
Yeah, Rudy predicted and told his driver, I think the 20, the 12, 22, and 45 will come down. We are going to stay out. You are good on these tires. William said, okay, let's go.
It's going to be very fascinating, though, because now you're going to have Byron leading. First 2 off pit road of Larson and Elliott, and then the rest of the Championship 4.
Here we go. A late race caution, a little twist in the script on Championship Day. What a day we've got here in the desert, Phoenix, Arizona. You're watching the NASCAR Cup Series Championship on NBC, presented by Brez Tree. It's all going to come down to these final 57 laps. Still under caution. Special day on so many reasons, for so many reasons, and especially this one too. Martin Truex Jr. This is his 684th consecutive start. How about that? That's not the career total. That's just consecutive starts for this man who's been in the Cup Series for 2 decades. He's a champion. He started today on the pole. We say thanks for a great time, Martin. The Toyota driver update. What a career you have carved out. All right, let's get back to the Championship 4 and the stories that we've got to tell and follow. And we just keep going back to that Rudy Fugle call. Is it going to be the winning one for William Byron? His 3 opponents have all come in on this most recent opportunity.
So you see the current lineup. Byron, who only has 1 lap on his tires. Larson and Chase Elliott just came off from pit road because they also hadn't pitted. So here's the choose. 24 chooses the bottom, 5 and 9 choose the top. Allows Bell to line up inside row 2. Then it'll be Penske cars filling up row 3.
How crazy is that? On that low line, you've got the guy in front and behind who stood on pit road last Sunday night in Martinsville, Virginia, waiting in a tiebreaker situation until race control said, Christopher Bell, I am sorry. You ran the wall. You did that rim shot, the wall runner. That's an illegal move to advance any position, gain an advantage, and you're out. You're not going to the Championship 4, and the guy he conceded it to is right in front of him on the racetrack.
The key to this restart, you have to assume it's the last restart of the race, right? So if you're William Byron, you have everything that you need right in front of you. Clean racetrack. Behind you, Larson, Elliott, Bell. In between you and the other guys you're racing for a championship. So how you launch out of the restart zone, how you get through turn 1, turn 2, that could be the difference in making a championship. You haven't had the pace. You haven't been far off, but you haven't had the pace of those other 2 Penske cars. You've got to get away from them, and the opportunity is right in front of you.
Oh, and have we been remiss to say this is this year's Daytona 500 winner? Could he bookend the year? Winning the first, winning the last, and winning his first Cup title. That'd be a story. Dave Burns, what you got?
Lee, I was thinking about Jeff's comments on aggression. That's has helped Tyler Reddick more often than not. Remember on the last restart, he was in position 10, worked his way quickly up to the top 5, got a little bit of damage on the car, but it was that restart that helped him. This time he starts much further up in 7th position. Blaney Logano right with him. We'll see how this goes this time for the 45. Can this be the way they find their way to the front today?
At the Charlotte Roval, Joey Logano was out. And a week later, after the disqualification of Alex Bowman, a week later he won. Then you've got Tyler Reddick. He was on the edge. He had to race hard. He got in, and he was fighting to survive. He ended up on his roof in Las Vegas. A week later, he won. Blaney had that devastating loss at Homestead. A week later, he won. And now William Byron has the opportunity. This was Reddick on the last restart. And, Jeff, he wasn't hanging about for anybody.
No, he's not. And he's willing to do these types of things. And I think he has to be willing to do it as well this time. And that puts Ryan Blaney directly in front of him, a little bit in defense mode.
Extended aerial coverage of the Cup Series Championship Day is brought to you by Traveller Whiskey. My point of that, what a difference a week makes. Last week, Byron was in a tiebreaker situation and maybe out. This week, he has the opportunity to win and win his first Cup title. Here we go. Contact early on that restart. Look at Reddick, he's going on that high line again. The 12 right in the middle, Blaney tucks in behind his teammate. Reddick gets blocked by the 9.
Logano through to 3rd, Blaney battling with him in the 5. Bell, though, side by side with Byron.
Now here comes Logano. Watch that bright yellow Shell Pennzoil forward. Logano extreme to the driver's left. Down low, and that's a race change lead move. And he gets a little squirrely. Byron's coming back.
Joey Logano restarted 5th, and here he is leading the race.
Kyle Larson pushing through as well. Here comes Blaney, looming in the background. Reddick's not far off it either. Now, can Byron go with Logano? Here's Blaney's view. Harrison, Bell, Blaney, 3 wide. Racing into the sun, into the shadows. Oh, bit of a touch. Blaney got into the side of Bell. And maybe a slight touch with Larson. And while all of this is going on, Joey Logano saying, thank you very much. Keep fighting each other. I'm taking off.
This restart we knew was going to be aggressive. Reddick trying to get to the outside. I said Blaney was going to be in a little bit of defense mode. He looks right here. Tries to put a block on, but Reddick was there.
And Ryan Blaney just cannot find a way past Kyle Larson at the moment.
50 laps is still a long run here at Phoenix. Blaney has time. I agree. He has to get by Larson, but remember the last run. Logano got by the 12, but over time, Logano's car faded. Blaney's car got better. He ran him back down. We don't really know what Byron had. He kind of hung out a second back on his own, really out of trouble.
Logano to Blaney, 1.7 seconds. Logano to Reddick, 2.3. That's a big gap early on, straight after a restart.
Blaney's going to try to do everything. He knows he needs to kind of eliminate this 5 from the equation.
We got time here.
What are you hearing on the 22, Parker?
Well, once he got to the lead, Lee, the team came on the radio and said, you've got clean air and the tire advantage over the 24. Let's drive away. And that's exactly what he's done. He's built that gap over a second now to the 24 of William Byron, trying to control this race from the front.
Something about this 22, the playoffs. You look at career win total and then percentage in the playoffs. He has a higher percentage than really any other driver, a 2-time champ. It doesn't make sense on paper at times, but they find a way. You have to ask yourself, with 47 to go, have they found a way again on this restart?
Lee Petty, David Pearson, Cale Yarborough, Darrell Waltrip, Tony Stewart. Does that list have an addition today of Joey Logano as 3-time Cup Series champs? Marty.
As you can imagine, Joey Logano's teammate Ryan Blaney was not very happy with how that restart played out as he tries to get by Kyle Larson. Listen to the radio just moments ago.
Gonna be a blockade. What the think I'm doing? Trying to get through. Right, just move.
So, Jeff, I want to go back to what we talked about at the beginning of the show. Ryan Blaney told us earlier this week, I need to remind myself to have patience. Steve said a moment ago, there's still time for Ryan Blaney. Where do you need to go as a driver, Jeff, to say, hey, there's time, we can still make it happen, and calm down behind the wheel?
Last week at Martinsville, it looked like Blaney was out of it. And then Steve and I looked up, and all of a sudden, here he comes. He was best on the long run, and he was able to get back and get in position to win the race. But time's ticking, 44 to go. And way out in the distance, he can see his teammate. His teammate is out there 2.5 seconds, and between he and his teammate is William Byron. So he's got to get by not one playoff contender, but 2 to win this championship.
And he's working hard. Every straightaway adjusting the brake bias, different brake bias front to rear for turns 1 versus turn 3. And look at this mess, 3 wide back here, Truex in the middle.
Harrison Burton in that 21 down low, his final drive for the Wood brothers. Josh Berry up the top in that Texas A&M car. It's his final drive, of course, with Stuart Haas going away.
It's a battle for 16th.
And a battle is right.
Yeah, they're scrapping it out. They're going all over the place. Carson Hocevar ahead of them in the 77. Noah Gregson's had a good run. He's up in the 10th position at the moment behind Chris Buescher. Chase Elliott and Bubba Wallace has worked his way up to 7th. Some really good runs today from guys who started a little further back. Brad Keselowski's worked his way into the top 15.
I mentioned Blaney, very busy behind the wheel. We already know that they shift. Normally it's every straightaway, but Blaney just shifting on the one side. So watch his right hand. We're going to exit the corner right here. He's going to take his hand off the wheel, grab 5th gear. Oh, no, brake adjustment first, then the shift. up into 5th, down into 4th. Watch him, when he leaves the corner, he's gonna reach up with his hand to Ken. You can't see it, but on the dash is the brake adjuster. He's adjusting the brakes every straightaway. Right there, another adjustment. He wants a different brake bias from one end of the track to the other.
He wants that because one end of the track is different than the other. You need your car to do something different in 1 and 2 because of the shape of the corner and the degree of the banking in the corner. So to optimize his opportunity to have the best handling car, he's making those fine adjustments.
But with every lap that goes by, his teammate, and a little moment there for Blaney, his teammate continues to extend his lead, not only over William Byron, but Ryan Blaney as well. It's out to almost 3 seconds between the teammates. "34 laps to go here at Phoenix Raceway, and Team Penske's Joey Logano, who was victorious this year in Nashville, in Atlanta, and Las Vegas. And that Las Vegas race is one I want to talk about because in his previous 2 championship seasons, he has won in the round of 8 to put himself in here and then has gone on and converted and become the champion. Does that trend continue today? It sure looks like it.
He's in the position every driver wants to be in. A 2-second lead, 33 laps to go. Equal tires with Blaney, Larson, maybe 1 lap better than Byron. It comes down to these lap traffic. As he works through them, Jeff, he just can't afford to catch one at the wrong time.
Yeah, he did a great job of getting through lap traffic right there. Byron had a major issue. He lost about a half a second that last lap. See, as Byron's caught the 51 car, just lost a little bit of speed. So like the 51 car, he must have just pitted. He's on tires.
Jeff, it's only a 1/10 of a second, but Blaney just stopped the bleeding. He's gone from 3.3 seconds now to 3.1 behind Joey. That's the first time in a while that it's gone the other way. The positive momentum for Blaney. We'll see if this continues. He's 1.5 seconds behind William Byron.
One advantage that Blaney has in the line that he likes running to 1 and 2 is that because it's so low, he gets clean air. As he catches race cars, no one else is really running that low, so he has the advantage of maximizing his speed with clean air. That lap, he was 2/10 quicker than Logano.
And here he comes. It's sub-3 now. So he's got the time, Steve, even though it's a 10th or 2, here or there, he's got the time with 30 to go.
Well, remember what we saw at Las Vegas. Joey Logano out leading, Bell running him down by chunks with fresher tires. This isn't a tire situation, but a speed situation is clear. Blaney has the faster car. In clean air, he's 2 to 3/10 of a second faster than Logano. I don't think this is going to come down to clean air. This is going to come down to how well Logano, Byron, and Blaney can orchestrate their way through traffic.
What you got on Blaney, Marty?
Lee, in stage 1, Ryan Blaney's strength was the long run. In stage 2, their strength was the short run. But to start stage 3, Jonathan Hassler's adjustment was to be better on the long run. Does that pay off, and do they have the time? That's the question, Kim.
Well, for William Byron, they came into this race no finish worse than 6th in the last 6 races, but winless in the last 27. I asked Rudy Fugel, what does that say about the team? He said, we're one small adjustment away from winning the race. Well, they've been searching all day for what that adjustment is here at Phoenix. They've missed it the first half of the race. We'll see if the last adjustment they made is good on the long run. They told William, let's see where it goes on the long run. As you guys work traffic, that should tell us more. We are still very much in it, Parker.
Kim, what amazes me about Joe Logano is the sheer amount of information he asks from his race team that they deliver to him. Even when he's in the lead, he gets talked to throughout the lap, and he's been vocal about wanting constant information. So much so, take a listen to his radio when Blaney got into P3.
Blaney just cleared for P3. You ran a 63 with a 55 behind. 1.6 to second, 3.3 to third.
We've heard a lot of drivers tell their team to be quiet, but he is not that type of driver. He asks for all the information, including the driver that's going for third, a couple positions behind him, and exactly what kind of lap time he's got. That's what he wants inside the race car, which makes him amazing, his ability to drive and comprehend all that information.
Well, before he has company from William Byron, I think Byron's going to have company in the form of Ryan Blaney. Blaney has been taking chunks of time out of the deficit, from himself to Byron, from himself to his teammate Logano.
And Blaney cannot mess around. He is faster than Byron, he's faster than Logano, but he cannot get hung up behind Byron. He's going to have to do what he did at Martinsville. Remember, he got out of character a little bit. He moved some people out of the way. It was time to go. What is he going to do when he gets to William?
And this is a split right here, the next 5 laps, because Logano is in clean air. Blaney's behind the 24. I think if Logano wants to have a shot to hold the 12 off, he has to stretch this gap right here while they're in different situations.
The way this is going, folks, we could likely see a teammate on teammate fight in the closing laps of this race and this season for the title. Inside of William Byron goes Blaney. Pulls up behind, a little draft. Is he going to have another inside shot here? Lines up the Exalta Chevrolet, and Ryan Blaney puts that Ford down on the low line.
This is when he's got to get real aggressive down here in turn 1. He cannot let William hold him up. You can see him banging doors.
The defending Cup Series champion, fighting like he did at Martinsville last week to go back-to-back.
Now he knows he's in for a fight. Now the aggression's going to have to get even higher.
Byron showed that he wasn't going to get pushed around. He may not have a choice. The champ runs him a little high. Blaney has his nose in second for now. 2.2 seconds behind his teammate and race leader Joey Logano. Byron's coming back now, not satisfied with sitting in third.
Now Blaney just cleared for second. You can only give up a 10th a lap here.
Simple math, 21 laps to go, 2.2 seconds back to Blaney. There you have it. You can be a 10th slower lap, that's all you can be. Last lap by, the same lap time, but remember, Blaney coming off the battle. We will find out in the next couple laps what the lap time split is between Logano and Blaney.
21 laps, 21 miles left on the season.
This lap is going to be a huge advantage for Blaney. You can see it, just a natural grip of the race car. Yes, a 10th better for Blaney.
All right, so this is a game of tenths of a second. Think about that. Over a 29-second lap, 1/10 of a second. So what does Joey Logano do to...
Come from turn 2 last time.
What does he do to maximize his speed? It's all about how much speed you carry on entry. Are you going to try to drive too hard and get your car out of line? You see Blaney right on the bottom of the racetrack, hitting his marks, we call it, putting your car exactly where you need it to be with the right speed, getting it to rotate, going to the throttle at the right time. If you ask too much of your car, you actually go slower.
1.9 seconds. The gap keeps coming down.
Rolling speed to the bottom like stage 1.
That will be enough if Blaney can keep that speed up for him to get there.
I'm sorry, it's going to come down to traffic, right? The 22 is now behind the 7 and the 14. That's what's slowing the 22 down. Can the 22 bypass those two and then force the 12 to work their way through traffic?
This is just extraordinary that at the end of the 36th points-paying race, racing all over the country, on road courses, street courses, short tracks, intermediates and super speedways, this season is going to come down to a couple of seconds between teammates.
Logano has asked more of his car, and it's not there. He just ran slower.
Jeff, 1.2 seconds now. Blaney is in view, in clear view.
Great set of corners for the 22. Classy move by the 7. He pulls over, lets the 22 by. 14 of Briscoe also, classy move. Their seasons are over. They get out of the way for the race leader, the 22. You would like to see the same thing for Blaney. Let the speed of the 22 and the 12 dictate who should be the champion.
It's been 14 years since somebody went back-to-back Cup championships. That was Jimmy Johnson. Jimmy's in this race. This is a special piece of history on the line here for Ryan Blaney, and so too for Joey Logano to become a 3-time champion. The stakes couldn't be higher.
Classy move. The 7-14 out of Blaney's way as well.
1 even second. 15 laps to go here in Phoenix. When we sat down with these guys earlier this week, Jeff, I can't remember if it was you or Steve, asked the question, all right, it's the end of the race. It's the two of you. What happens? And Joey Logano said, it better be a Team Penske Championship victory, which was answering the question without answering the question.
Well, that makes it even more difficult for Blaney as he gets there. If it's not a teammate,
he moves.
Don't worry so much about what happens, right?
Yeah.
But Roger Penske has an expectation that they race clean, that they give each other respect, race hard. He expects Ryan Blaney to go get Joey Logano, do everything he can, but he wants him to do it the right way, Steve.
Well, and he has enough speed to do it the right way. He has now closed this lead down to 1 second. Upper left, the captain, Roger Penske.
Kathy there, his wife, Bud Denker, president of the Penske Corporation, Greg Penske on the far right.
Paul Wolf, bottom right, crew chief for Joey Logano. Bottom left, Jonathan Hassler, crew chief for the 12. The organization that has worked so well together to get these two cars to this point.
Just over half a second between Joey Logano and Ryan Blaney.
And to your point, Jeff, Blaney is happy because where Logano thinks his car is the best is a groove higher than what the 12 is running in 3 and 4.
The other thing we saw, remember what Blaney did earlier in the race. He was working the bottom. The driver in front of him started blocking that. Immediately, Blaney went to the top a few laps. Guy in front of him kind of relaxed, and he went back to the bottom and took the lead, took the position. So Blaney has experienced that. Oh, Logano with a big lap right there. That is the fastest lap he's run over the last 15.
And that has stabilized, if not just swung back a little bit in Joey's favor.
So what was it? What did Logano find that made it work that lap right there, and can he repeat it?
Team Penske has never finished 1-2 in a NASCAR Cup Series Championship. That's also on offer right here, right now. With 10 laps remaining.
Ran the same speed that lap. Logano has found something.
Stick the tongue out, let's go.
What was that? Did you pick that up?
Some sort of motivational speech, but I'm not sure what. We tend to go, at this point as a crew chief, you just leave the radio clear. This is between spotter and driver.
Oh, we just got confirmation on it. Stick your tongue out, let's go.
That right there, Logano did not hit his marks down in 3 and 4, and it cost him about 1/10 of a second. He's going to have to be perfect. Joey Logano's built for this, though, Steve. He's built for these big moments, but so is Blaney. Neither one of these guys can make a mistake.
They may be better teammates now that they're both champions, but that loyalty, that cooperation, that's going to be put to test right here because there is a Cup Series title on the line.
That speed that Logano had found a few laps ago, it's gone. He no longer has that pace.
You're talking about tenths of a second between teammates to determine a title. This is unreal.
And Blaney's there.
The closest that Ryan Blaney has been to Joey Logano in quite some time. Logano has led 100 laps today and may not win this race. If Ryan Blaney keeps this going, look at Blaney switching lanes, switching lines. He's right there with his teammate. This time by, there will be 6 laps to go, 6 miles. Which teammate's going to do it?
You got to earn this thing right here. Let's go.
Blaney to the bottom of the racetrack. That's where he said he likes his race car the most. Logano doing a nice job of carrying good exit speed. Now a car in front of them moves out of the way. Blaney to the top.
Go.
Final 5. Your guess is as good as ours. Who do you like? Who do you see being the champ?
Watch this right here. Watch this. Blaney with a different look at 1 and 2. Washed up the racetrack, let the car turn, accelerated off. Doing a little bit of experiment right now, seeing what's going to work.
Traffic up ahead. 4 laps remaining. Joey Logano's resilience has been incredible. Blaney's determination has been equally as incredible. But this man here out front has been stoic. Coming back from that earlier pit stop hiccup that put him down 4 positions. They had to swap out the Jackman due to illness. Paul Wolfe said, we'll be right, we'll be okay. We can stabilize and get on with this. And Joey Logano is 3 miles away from his 3rd Cup title, but it's not over with yet.
Blaney using the apron to the racetrack, trying to shorten up the distance on the front straightaway.
6 races this year, Jeff, were won by a last lap pass. Is that going to happen today?
Let's see if Logano answers the call on the front straightaway. Blaney went to the apron. It helped his lap time. Logano stays on the outside.
Inside 2 laps now. Blaney's throwing everything he's got at his teammate. Traffic up ahead. Decision, key decision to be made by Joey. JJ Yaley stays out of the way. It's going to come down to 1 mile, 1
Your
lap,
very best lap here.
2 teammates. Who you got? Logano or Blaney? 1 to go, presented by Credit One Bank. This has been an extraordinary season of motor racing. The NASCAR Cup Series is alive and well, and it's given us thriller after thriller after thriller. This is Blaney's final shot at it. He goes up high. There's traffic low. Joey Logano steps into history. He's a 3-time Cup Series champion.
Nobody better. Nobody.
Paul Wolfe, the architect, up on the pit box. At the end of the Charlotte Roval, Logano was out. The Bowman disqualification put him back in, and he never missed a spot. How do you like me now, says Joey Logano.
Good job, guys.
The 34-year-old from Middletown, Connecticut, who's called North Carolina home for many years. Has just stepped in to an important place in NASCAR Cup Series history and joins the greats as a three-time champ.
You can stop across from your pit box there on the racetrack, grab your flag. Congratulations, 2024 NASCAR Cup Series champion. Free time, buddy. Good job.
Brad Moran, series director. Remember the restart. Joey Logano went from 5th to 1st in 1 lap.
Look at that. Look at that list of names, that list of legends. And Joey now sits amongst them. It's 1, 2, 3 for Team Penske, 3 in a row. 3 in a row for Ford. And Joey's third. That's a burnout worthy of a three-time champion. The father of 3. Such a proud dad, such a proud teammate to this guy. He's so good for the sport. And he steps into a special place. Spare a thought for Ryan Blaney. He fought hard, but it's Joey Logano's moment.
Lee, there's just something about these moments for Joey Logano and Paul Wolfe where they just come to life. They didn't have the most speed this year, but man, do they maximize their opportunities. And Joey Logano is now a 3-time NASCAR Cup Series champion. Joey, what is it about these moments that make you and Paul absolutely come to life and find a different level?
I love the playoffs. I love it, man. What a race. What a Team Penske battle there at the end. Had a good restart. Was able to get in front of the 12, and he got a lot of long run speed there, and that's all I had there to hold him off. So man, 3 of them. It's really special, Marty, to get to that. And what a team to fight through today. We threw a little bit of adversity throughout the race, and man, I just can't thank Ford enough, and Shell and Pennzoil and Hunt Brothers Pizza, Paul Wolfe. I mean, what a crew chief do I have? I got the best team. I don't know if I'm the best driver, but I got the best team. And together we're very well-rounded and can show up when it matters the most. So we get a mentally tough team that can make things happen when it matters.
What did you find to keep your teammate Ryan Blaney behind you, because he caught you awfully quick?
Coleman Presley. He was telling me where he was. All right, he's up there telling me the best lanes to run, and it's a balance of putting dirty air on him and running the fastest laps for my Ford. And we just got a little too tight there at the end, and I couldn't really wrap the bottom as good as I wanted to. So just and 1-2 for Team Penske, 3 championships in a row. since this next-gen car. I couldn't be more proud of everyone at the shop that's built these things. This is our pit stall's way over there because of what happened. And, kind of bummed out I don't see him out here yet.
As a team, Joey, you told me Tuesday we won at the right times. We kept pressure on everybody else. How much of this championship story is about maximizing the opportunities you had?
Yeah, the race started in Vegas for us, and the amount of work and effort that went into building this race car right here, the amount of time. I mean, I don't think anyone works harder than us. We're up at 6 in the morning this morning going over stuff, but the guys just want it bad, and I'm glad we delivered. It was looking iffy there for a minute, but that race restart was really the difference maker, and gosh, I'm so proud of the team.
Make it 10. Joey Logano becomes the 10th driver in NASCAR history with 3 championships. Joey Logano is the 2024 NASCAR Cup Series champion.
And you could tell there from Joey's response to Marty's questions, he was pushed hard by his teammate Ryan Blaney. But this spectacular year for Team Penske continues in all disciplines of their racing portfolio. And it was the 2 Team Penske Ford drivers, 1-2, with all the spoils going to Joey Logano, a 3-time NASCAR Cup Series champion. And that's how much it means. Overcoming some setbacks pre-weekend, during the race, and the captain says, that's how we do it. We're here to win, and we know how to win really well. The NASCAR America post-race show, presented by Progressive. Well, what a weekend here in the Valley of the Sun as it begins to set. Here comes the fam.
Hudson, Jameson, Amelia are in here celebrating with their dad down here.
It's a Logano family moment. Brittany, Hudson, Jameson, and Amelia all there saying this is fantastic. Every story has 2 sides. While they celebrate, it's a tough one. It's a tough one for Ryan Blaney, who fought so hard, Dave Burns.
And Lee, the scene beside the 12 car has been the AMR safety team making sure that Ryan's okay. He has assured us that he's okay, but it looks like you worked awfully, awfully hard to try to get your teammate there at the end.
Yeah, just worn out and just couldn't quite get there. And tried really hard to do so. Just restart didn't really work out and just got too far away from me, and it took me a while to kind of pass a couple guys, and just could never get by Joey, and just ran out of time. But congrats to him, congrats to the 22 team and Pennzoil and Ford. They put together a great playoffs, and we're happy, and if we're going to race somebody, I'm happy it was him for the championship, and happy to be 1-2 for Roger. 3 in a row for Roger is super amazing, and Ford, and But on my side, I hate it for Menards, you know, Advanced Auto Parts, Body Armor, Dex Imaging, Wabash, the Worth Group, everybody who really puts a lot of effort into our program, and just super fast. Just didn't quite have enough there at the end, and yeah, but at least the Penske car won it. But yeah, heck of a battle. Hope the fans enjoyed it, and yeah, hopefully we come back even stronger next year.
It was a great show. Once you got clear and started going to work, did you think you had him?
Yeah, I didn't know. I had to work really hard to get by the 5 and the 24, and and Joey was pretty far away, and I was working really hard to try to get to Joey, so I was kind of nervous that if I ended up kind of getting close to him, a lot of my stuff would be burned off of it, and it kind of was, but I didn't have a choice. I couldn't really wait, so yeah, it just took too long. Just the restart just didn't play out for us. I feel like if I came out, you know, behind Joey and didn't have kind of 2 cars in between us that I had to pass, I would have been able to have a better shot, but just the restart didn't work out, and that's just the way it goes sometimes. But so proud of the 12 team for their effort, and really, really happy with our year. And like I said, really happy for Roger Penske and Joey Logano and Paul Wolf and all those guys, and try to restack and go at it again.
We're proud of the show that you put on. The reigning champ passes the cup to his teammate today, Kim.
Well, Dave, a valiant effort by William Byron and the 24 crew. Unfortunately, not quite enough. What did you need differently here today to come home with the championship?
We just need a little bit more. We were, I felt like we gave it all we had, you know, and that's something to be proud of. We just didn't have enough to go fight with the Penske guys. So I could at times kind of inch up on them, but I felt like the short and the long run, they just were better. And kind of the mid portion of the run, I'd be a little bit better. But Rudy made a great call. I was really proud of that. That was cool to give us a shot, you know, and give us a shot at the front row, and ultimately netted out better. But yeah, just not quite enough. But so proud of this team, Exalta, Chevrolet, all of our partners. It's been a great year. To make the championship 4 and win the 500 is awesome. And I know what we need to work on, and we'll go at it next year.
Second straight championship of four appearance, leaving without what you wanted. How much hungrier does that make you for 2025?
Makes you hungrier, but also just more experience of what it takes. And you know, I feel like this style of track has been tough on us, and we made a lot of strides this year, but still more to go. So if we can just kind of inch up on this style of track, I know we're so good at all the other ones, and we can put it all together.
William Byron and this team come home third in the championship standings, Parker.
And finishing the 6th position was Tyler Reddick, 4th of the championship 4 competitors. And Tyler, it looks like maybe you just lacked a little bit of long run speed there at times. Is that what you needed to go compete with the others?
Yeah, you know, I think we definitely got our beast Camry better throughout the day. Yeah, it's just, I don't know, there was that one time there we were behind the other championship 4 cars, and they just kind of were able to pull away over time. So it was a good year for us and everyone at 2311 to get to championship 4 and have a shot at it was nice. Yeah, we got to get a little bit better here at Phoenix, and obviously we're heavily motivated to do that, knowing championship's sighted here. So good year for us. Proud of the effort. You know, it's a lot to do, all the preparation, all the work that goes into this. It takes everybody, and we were close. We were just not quite good enough, unfortunately.
You had some incredible restarts, 3 and 4 wide around the outsides in turns 1 and 2. What inspired you to do that? I know that's sort of your modus operandi in a lot of respects, but what inspired you to do that?
Yeah, I just seemed like my best hope was to try and pass them on the restarts and hope I could hold them off on the long run. You know, in stage 1, I was almost able to hold off the 12, but yeah, just as the race kept going forward, you know, that's last restart in particular, I got outside the 12, but the 9 kind of washed up. So got to be aggressive, and that was, I feel like, my best shot at trying to get ahead of the others. And we fought hard all day. We didn't make any big mistakes that took ourselves out of it. We fought really hard, so a lot to be proud of. But obviously, you know, when you come here, you want to leave here a champion. So we'll work on it and think about what we can do in the off season to get better here.
Guys, it was a valiant effort for Tyler Reddick and 2311 team.
Incredible effort, regular season champion, and first time 2311 has made it into the championship 4. And say when he needed to be aggressive, you gave us plenty of great moments, Tyler, not only today but throughout this season. And this is one to remember. It's Joey Logano, who is the champ. He is on the track. I want to remind you, we've got extended coverage coming up NASCAR America post-race coverage on Peacock. That is coming up. And remember, Football Night in America, followed by Lions, Texans. That's what's on the menu. How good must this feel for Joey Logano? Family on board, and the reality of the fact that he's a 3-time NASCAR Cup Series champion starting to soak in.
Only 10 drivers. See Austin Cindric. Only 10 drivers in NASCAR history after nearly 3,000 have taken a green flag. 10 have been able to win 3 championships or more. You mentioned it. You know, this is rare air that he is joining an elite group. There was no question he was bound for the Hall of Fame, but now he's just risen above even more.
Can I tell you something too? And for the two of you, and I used to, for the two of you who live in North Carolina, in everything that he's had going on in this championship run, he's done so much from a philanthropic standpoint for the people of Western North Carolina.
He is the mix that so many athletes have a hard time finding of when he puts his helmet on, he goes on the battlefield, he is a warrior. When he gets out of the car, he finds a way to be compassionate, loving, caring of other people. He gives of himself, gives a tremendous amount of time, and that's hard to find, that balance. It's hard to understand how to do that. You and I, Steve, for years have said he is the guy in this sport that can do it. You know, we both made the same opinion, is that he is probably the most valuable driver in the sport because he wins championships, he wins races, he flat out gets it done, and then out of the race car, you couldn't ask for somebody better. You couldn't ask for somebody that's going to do the right thing, going to work with your team to build the team, make it better, be a team player. He is a complete package, and the results show it.
And his teammate, Ryan Blaney, the defending champ coming into this race, was graceful all year as the champion and graceful in defeat. I appreciate the drive he put on a week ago to get to this point for the fans, and I appreciate the effort he put in today. Here's Paul Wolfe. That man, Joey said it. Paul's a quiet guy, but he finds a way to unlock the puzzle like no one else. Think about this. He had Joey up at 6 a.m. reviewing whatever Paul thought was necessary, and you see why.
Well, they had a 6:30 a.m. meeting back in 2022 when he won, so that's the magic, right? Those early morning meetings must continue, and reminding you that extended post-race coverage is coming up on Peacock.
It's a signature move with the wheel.
This is a guy who came into this sport as a teenager at a very high level at a very young age and has shown that he has been able to handle whatever has been thrown at him so well. There was a couple of blips there when he was a bit younger. There was a step back to step forward.
Yes, it was, and that it just shows you have to keep fighting. Everybody has bad years. Things aren't always easy, and it hasn't been for this guy. That made him tougher.
This is what it's about, sharing it with the men and women of the team that work tirelessly. And by the way, it's not a very long off season before you've got to re-rack and get ready for the beginning of 2025. But this is the moment. This is why they work all year long for this. I can see our man Marty Snyder on the stage. Take it away, mate.
We have NASCAR President Steve Phelps, and we have Joey Logano, who's hugged everybody here at Phoenix Raceway today. Steve, I'll let you do the honors for the third time with Joey Logano.
Joey, if there's one word that describes you and this entire 22 team, it must be resilient. You guys came into the playoffs, the transfer and the win at Las Vegas, then to come here, and when the stars shine most brightly, you guys are here. And that's why you, Joey Logano, are a 3-time NASCAR Cup Series champion.
I'll let you do the honors with the hardware, Steve.
Thank you. Joey, on behalf of everyone at NASCAR, the entire NASCAR industry, and the millions of fans we have around the world, it is my honor and my privilege to present the Bill France Cup to you and crown you as our 2024 Cup Series champion.
lead for the third time. Joey Logano hoists the Cup Series Championship trophy.
The Bill France Cup going to Joey Logano and Team Penske. Remember, our post-race coverage continues on Peacock. You'll hear from Joey and a whole lot more. And what a day. What a way for it to finish. Stevie, final thoughts.
Well, this was the intangible. We talked about the 4 drivers coming in. Those last laps for Joey Logano were the things you can't measure, Jeff.
An incredibly hard fought battle. Stepped up to the plate, made it happen.
Coming up next on NBC Football Night in America, followed by Lions Texans. What a day. Make the switch to Peacock. Post-race coverage. See you there.